Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on a scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
What day is it?
Today's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Hey, sorry I woke you up.
Time to get up.
It's time to get up.
You know I do not get up at times.
You're the reason people wake up in the morning.
Don't kiss me. Morning breath.
What time do you have?
Oh, time for work.
Ready to start the day.
Everyone have a good show.
It's showtime!
Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome in on a Tuesday morning. So many sports intersecting right now. Big 12 Media Days kick off in about an hour. In the 7 o'clock hour, we'll head to the Star in Dallas, where the Big 12 Media Days, today and tomorrow, it's Texas Tech and BYU and Oklahoma State. I think Houston is today as well. The Utes are coming up tomorrow. So we will have 2 days worth of coverage getting underway in the next hour. And actually later this hour, you'll hear from Pete Sousa, who does a Big 12 podcast, calls games on ESPN. PK and I talking with him. We'll get to that coming up later this hour. We'll start, though, with the basketball and the soccer. The Jazz with another impressive performance, and Darryn Peterson looked good. We'll get to that coming up. But first, we'll start with the bad news. The U.S. soccer team is out of the World Cup, out in the round of 16 again, dominated by Belgium, 4-1. And it was 2-1 at the half. And no matter what they did, even when they did something right, they immediately followed it up by making a couple of mistakes. It was a clear one step forward, two step back kind of performance. You know, the question, is it disappointing? Yes. Did they do some exciting things in this tournament? Yes. But those are offset by the fact that this was a bigger tournament. So there were more teams in it that they should be able to beat. This is the 15th ranked team in the world going into the tournament. And, you know, with every match, it bounces around a little bit. But you get the idea. They're not in the top 10. They are in the next 10. And that's the way the tournament played out again. And this is the fourth time in the last 5 tournaments that they've gone out in the round of 16. They were knocked out in the round of 16 by the Netherlands 4 years ago. 8 years ago, in 2018, they didn't qualify. That was a disaster. In 2014, they lost to Belgium in Brazil. And in 2010, they got knocked out by Ghana in South Africa. So this is where the United States is. I don't know what to tell you. And it's disappointing for multiple reasons. The biggest single reason is home field advantage is massive in soccer. And they had it, and they didn't capitalize on it. And there are plenty of teams that you can look at that say, well, when they hosted, they had their best tournament ever because the home field's that powerful. I mean, you can go back 60 years to England. They've won the Cup one time, and who hosted? England. Who won when it was in France? France. When it went to South Korea and Japan, South Korea went to the semifinals. You're supposed to do well when you host. Now, not all hosts do, and that makes it a disappointment. I think that's what it is for this U.S. team. They did a good job beating some teams along the way, but those are teams they were supposed to beat, teams that were ranked below them in the rankings. This is the first time they played anybody in the top 20, and Belgium took them apart. Now, Belgium beat them 5-2 in March. That was an exhibition. But now they beat them 4-1 in the World Cup. Well, what does that tell you? It tells you Belgium's better, you know? How does the U.S. get more top-end players, and how do they get more depth? Christian Pulisic had to leave partway through the second half, and you know they don't have another Christian Pulisic. And meanwhile, Belgium's bringing stars off the bench. Lukaku's coming off the bench. De Bruyne didn't even play. I mean, he is an elite midfielder, not as athletic as he used to be, older. So Doku also came in and looked good, and he's a talented young player. Belgium's got more good players. I don't know what to tell you. And also the tactics, they dominated the midfield, controlled the ball in the first 45 minutes, and the U.S. made adjustments with a substitution at halftime and got numbers up in the midfield and started to control the game. But that just brings you to the point, well, why didn't they do it in the first half? They got outfoxed in the first 45 minutes. And there were just some brutal mistakes on top of that. Bad giveaways, guys ball watching. Mistakes were made. The first goal should have cleared that. Absolutely should have cleared that. The third goal, It's a massive goalkeeping blunder. You got to get that. You can't kick the ground. You got to get your left foot into that ball, and you got to send that thing 50 yards downfield and get it out of there. Instead, you lose the ball, and they score, and basically the game is over. So, was not a good performance. They'll try again in 4 years, but in 4 years, there'll be a few matches played in Uruguay, but mostly it'll be played in Morocco and in France and Spain. Excuse me, Morocco, Spain, not France. In Morocco and Spain. And when the U.S. plays in Europe, it usually doesn't go well. Europe hosted in 2006. The U.S. did not make it out of group play. Europe hosted in 98. The U.S. did not make it out of group play. Europe hosted in 1990. The U.S. did not make it out of group play. You see a pattern? Last time it was in Russia. The U.S. didn't even qualify, so they couldn't bomb out of the tournament. They didn't qualify for it. So we'll see what happens going forward. All right, we'll take a break. DJ and PK. When we come back, the Utah Jazz. Another night, another game. The Grizzlies. Darryn Peterson goes off again. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome in on a Tuesday morning. All right, time to spend a few minutes on your Utah Jazz. They win again in the NBA Summer League. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies 109-100. Another strong performance for Darryn Peterson. 25 points, 12 assists. Scored in a lot of different ways. Didn't shoot the three all that well. He was 3 of 9 from 3. Made all of his free throws. And 8 of 15 from the floor. Again, over 50%. I love the 12 assists. They came in a lot of different ways. The buckets came in a lot of different ways. Again, he scored the first bucket of the game. It's kind of ironic. The number 2 pick in the draft scored the first bucket of the game, a 2-pointer. And the number 3 pick in the draft scored the next bucket. Boozer hit a 3-pointer. So number 2 scored a 2, number 3 scored a 3, and we were off and running. Cam Boozer finished with 18 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal. He did have 4 turnovers. For Peterson, 25 points, 12 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 2 steals. Really cut down on the steals after having 8 in the opener. So that was a bright spot. And hit a little spinning hook in the lane to get things started. Had a nice layup on the right side. Hit a 3 from the right side. He was everywhere. Also went fouled and went to the line. I mean, he had like 9 points and 2 assists in 3.5 minutes. He just dominated right out. Just right out of the gate again. And I liked his assists. One driving down the left side of the lane, he kicked it out to Hinson for a 3. Had the ball in the backcourt, threw ahead 50 or 60 feet, found Hinson for another 3. Really mixed it up. Ran a pick and roll, dumped the ball inside to one of the bigs. I forget which one. Got an easy bucket there. So there was a lot to like. And I think the most important thing with Darryn Peterson, not perfect. It's never perfect. He's a young guy. It's only summer league, all that stuff. But he makes it look easy, and he's making the simple play. He's beating a lot of guys off the dribble. We'll see if people can stay in front of him in the NBA. But I can tell you right now, they cannot stay in front of him in Summer League. So that's a good sign. If they can stay in front of you in Summer League, then you're going to have problems in the winter. But he's just getting a hoop and is breaking down the defense and getting into the paint over and over. Quinn Snyder used to say, breaking the paint. I don't know about breaking the paint, but I guess it's a cool expression, whatever. But Peterson continues to impress. Good game for Cody Williams also. In 30 minutes, he had 18 points, 8 rebounds, and assists, a couple turnovers, and a steal and a block. So a little bit of everything. Cody a little stronger and willing to bully guys, at least in the Summer League. We'll see how it translates, but it does look like a step forward for him. Ace Bailey didn't play. So no update there. And I think that's just a function. They played 10 guys. I think that's a function of having a big roster, and they had 7 guys who didn't play, and I suspect Ace will be in tonight. We'll see if Peterson is. With these 7 guys coming in, I expect there are about 3 guys who will repeat again. So we'll see if they have Cody Williams and Darryn Peterson play back-to-back. They'll be back at it again tonight. And the games are coming fast and furious because after this, they're going to go down to Las Vegas. So there is plenty of basketball left to be played. They probably get about 5 games down there, I would guess. We'll see how that goes. But they play again tonight. 1 more game in Salt Lake. They play the Thunder tonight, 7 o'clock. So you got that to look forward to. All right, little post-game analysis after the Jazz pick up that win. Let's hear from the coach of the Summer League team, Steve Wojciechowski.
Darryn, I think, saw a little bit more doubles and saw a little bit kind of more aggressive defense today. How do you think that he did with that?
I think pretty well. I haven't watched the tape, but he's able to play at the pace the game calls for. Look, he's going to be closely guarded and doubled probably a lot of his career, and he for a young guy to be able to play at the pace the game calls for is a very unique skill, and he's got a great ability to stay neutral. Whether a guy is pressuring him full court, whether he's being trapped, whether it's the first possession of the first quarter or the last possession of the fourth quarter, he stays pretty present in the moment, and he's a really talented young player.
Is that presence and kind of his ability to not get sped up in those moments unique in your experience for such a young player?
Yeah, I'm still working on it, and this is like my 30th year. It's really unique. Having coached that age kid for over 2 decades, it's rare. But the thing that's obviously his play, you don't need me to talk about his play. His play speaks for itself. I tell you what, he's a really hungry learner. And I mean, he's watching tape with Coach Hardy. He wants to be great, and he's got, I think, what it takes. It's still a long way to go. It's Summer League, but he's got a lot of talent. He works incredibly hard, and he is a sponge in terms of learning. And when you mix all that together, it usually produces something really good.
Cody Williams recently talked about being sort of a secondary playmaker for the Jazz today. He played really well, did have some turnovers. What do you in Summer League, it's important to sort of go through those reps. What are you seeing from Cody sort of in that way as a playmaker?
Cody's had a great summer. He has been in the gym. He's working on his game, and one of the things that he's working on is handling pressure and being able to be a guy who can help with the ball handling. And we want to give him an opportunity to do that this summer. And Summer League is a great time to do it because the ball pressure in Summer League at times is even more aggressive than what you would see in a normal regular season game. So these are great opportunities for Cody to learn, to handle the ball, to make some decisions. And through 2 games, I think he's done a very good job. And being in those positions, he can even learn how to do a better job.
Coach, what do you think about Darryn's late game decision making specifically? You saw it a little bit on Saturday with, I think, a defensive moment he had when he got the possession back, made a 3, and then also tonight, his clutch moments. But those are really important moments for him.
I mean, hugely important. And, his scoring, I think jumps off the page. But when you watch the game back, there's a lot of different winning plays that he has his fingerprints on. His scoring is what gets the most attention. But he's gotten better defensively. He gets his hand on balls. He ends up being in the right spot at the right moments and key moments. And, I'm hopeful this experience has been great for him to have that, because it's been a while since he's played. So this is great to do it against other, high-level players.
Blake Hinson came on later in the season for the team. What did he show out tonight?
Blake can really shoot, and he's capable of going on a one-man streak with his three-point shooting. Then he, Blake's had a great summer as well. He's lost a bunch of weight, and he's made a huge commitment in the game. His shot hasn't fallen up until tonight, but his shot is there. I mean, the law of averages, he's going to shoot a really good percentage. It's the other areas of the game that the conditioning improvement have allowed him to make an impact. Defensively, just the way he moves offensively and defensively, he's really taken a step forward there. And it was good to see a couple shots go through the hoop, and I'm hoping that trend continues.
Coach, building off the question about Darryn's decision-making, last game he was in here disappointed about having 8 turnovers. Tonight, at least the stats I'm seeing, he only had 2. On top of that, he had 12 assists. Do you think that was just a goal of him today for him going into this game of let me be smart with the ball and facilitate tonight?
Well, Memphis really pressures the ball. I don't know if you saw him play yesterday, but their signature pretty much every summer league I've been involved in is they really make you handle pressure. And so coming into the game, he knew that. And like most guys who want to be great, it's not just about what you they expect to do well. Darryn expects to do well, and it's how can I be better is the question that he asks himself. And that's a very mature question for a young player to ask, especially it's his first game in front of Jazz fans. It's his first game in Jazz uniform. We have an incredible fan base, and it doesn't faze him, and that's pretty unusual.
All right, there's the coach, Steve Wojciechowski. Now here's Darryn Peterson coming off a strong performance, 25 points, 12 assists in 28 minutes. Here's DP.
Darryn, I kind of want to ask you a general question about basketball, and I'm going to say this with the caveat of understanding. I know that this is summer league. I know that it's 2 games, but all of that kind of to the side. What are your general thoughts when you think about greatness for yourself? Do you want to be great, and what does that mean to you?
You got pretty deep on that. That's a good question. What is greatness to me? I think it's just kind of being one-on-one. Just not a ton of people that I would say achieve greatness. Definitely something I want to try to achieve. Far away from it now. I'm so early in my career in summer league, but something I want to try to achieve by the end of my career. So that was part of that one-on-one, part of the greatness. So definitely important to me for sure.
Going to ask you about one of your opponents. What have you seen? What did you see out of Cam? And just kind of what have you seen out of him? Last year at Duke and pre-draft, and just kind of what are your thoughts on just kind of his game a little bit?
Yeah, a great player. I've been playing against him for a couple of years now. Played with him. I think it's cool to see somebody in my class and being out here and competing against each other and competing at this level. Great player. Was always at the top of all the scouting lists when I played against him. I think he played good today as well. So I think it's great. Our class is going to, I think, be one of those classes. So it's great to always go against one of the guys.
Darryn, last time we chatted with you, you were saying how you had 8 turnovers and you need to improve on that. Tonight, just 2, and you had 12 assists. Mm-hmm. Was that a goal tonight of hey, I'm going to head into this game and I'm going to facilitate and take care of the ball?
Yeah, for sure. 8 is insane. That's way too many. So I definitely told myself I had to cut those down.
You were facilitating a lot more tonight. They were throwing the blitz at you, which I guess the 2-part question is, are you just used to seeing that from all your years of playing, and how do you handle that maturely? And then was that the goal, was, hey, if they're going to come at me like this, hit the short roll, find the open man wherever?
Yeah, I've been playing against the blitz for a while now. Not a ton at Kansas. I was off the ball a bit, but I I'm kind of used to it, so just kind of reacted to it. I had to make plays for my teammates, and I try to do that.
Darryn, you played against a lot of really good defenders in college, Ivan Karchenkov, Emmanuel Sharp. What's the difference between playing against those guys, and especially when you, like you said, you're off the ball, so you're in kind of a scoring agenda then versus the balancing playmaking scoring today, and then playing Jemai Meshack, playing against Cedric Coward? Take me through kind of the difference and the evolution of your game against the stronger players.
Definitely credit to the offense. Definitely like a totally different offense setup. Way more space. So I think all those guys that you named are great defenders, but just coaching, I think they put me in the right positions. Not nothing against Kansas, but great coaches in that and great offense in that, but just two totally different game types.
Darryn, pulling from two questions already, a lot of great players use anything to motivate them, right? And after the game, you talked about whenever you can assert dominance, you try to. Playing against Cam Boozer, another top 3 pick, a guy that there's a lot of discussion in the pre-draft process. Did you pull any motivation from that playing against him?
Always. I try to find something against everybody I play against. Yeah, he was the pick after me, so I know he probably had an agenda today as well, so I couldn't let that ride. Yeah.
Along those lines of, if we don't get to talk to you again before we get to Vegas, the game there is going to be against AJ.
Yeah.
Is that motivating?
I think I'm motivated for every game, but obviously that one is going to be a big one. But, yeah, I'm motivated for every game. So.
I mean, I know that before last game, you were talking about knowing that Zuby was on the court and that you were thinking about that and thinking about that last game against Sam. I mean, are you kind of trying to push aside the fact that it's going to be number 1 versus number 2 picks in that game?
Yes, I think it's more just Utah versus Washington, but obviously, like I said, it's going to be gassed up that way. So definitely want to just try to help my team win.
Hi, Darryn. To get to where you've gotten to already, you have to love to work hard. Love putting in the work, love getting better. To get to where you want to go, you've got to love to work hard. Where do you develop your work ethic? What do you love about a hard work, putting in hard work over the course of the day? And you seem very goal-oriented too, and that's really important.
I would say something my pops instilled in me was work ethic. From a young age, I had a routine, a schedule that I followed probably for 5 years straight, where I had a routine that I followed and wouldn't get off it. So I think it started then, and then now I figure out a routine and I stick to it. So I think that is something that separates me. And then what do I love about hard work?
Yeah, what do you love about it? It feels good to put in a good hard.
For sure. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else in here works out, but when you wake up early in the morning, you're dreading the workout, but after you feel good about it. So that's always on my mind. I would just say that.
If it was easy, everybody would do it.
For sure. I think you just feel good after you wake up and you're dreading doing something and you do it. And then after you it wasn't even that bad, I got through it. So now it's kind of just me. For sure.
Darryn, I think after Saturday's game, you talked about how you were going to be watching film with Coach Hardy.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that's been like to take in film just at this level now and kind of consume it, break it down?
Yeah. First and foremost, I think it's super cool that he's willing to watch film with me. Something that I didn't do at Kansas was watch film with my head coach. So that's huge for me. And then we just broke down. We watched this morning actually. So. He called out some things, like I said yesterday, with the defense and box outs and stuff. So we seen eye to eye on that. And we also watched some, I forget his name, some defense player on the Ravens. He said, I need to be like this on defense. Someone, I forget his name. Is it, I might be wrong, I don't want to get it wrong. Is it Ed Reed maybe for the Ravens? Yeah, we watched him on film today. So I thought that was cool too. But yeah, man, I think we were building a great relationship.
How did you pick up the you said from the Ravens?
Yeah.
All kind of translates.
Yeah. He said that's just one of his favorite athletes, and he's just a safety. So he said I just need to be that aware and that light on my feet on defense, just trying to make plays.
You've already kind of brushed up on this topic, but going back to the Cam Boozer matchup, I don't know if you could sense in the arena that a lot of people were really anticipating this matchup, and on the very first possession, you got the ball, and the crowd was already erupting. Do you kind of feel that going into the game that people were really anticipating this, and now that your experience here is coming to a close, what do you make of the Salt Lake City Summer League?
Yeah, I think that's super cool. Like, I think they did it yesterday too. Once I got the ball, it got kind of loud. So, yeah, I'm loving the fans already. And I kind of knew going into it was kind of the matchup thing, but I don't really let that be in my head when I play. I just go Utah versus Memphis. Let's try to win.
All right, there's Darryn Peterson, a little Jazz talk. We will take a break. We will pivot, and when we come back, Pete Sousa from the Big 12 podcast will join us, and we will talk Big 12 football with him with Big 12 Media Days coming up today at the Star in Dallas in the 7 o'clock hour. Stay with us.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on the scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Pete Sousa joined us late in yesterday's show, does the Big 12 podcast, calls games on ESPN. And we talked about the Big 12 Media Days. And, of course, he and PK talked about Jersey. Why wouldn't they? Ham rolls down the Jersey Shore, all that stuff. Let's get a little Big 12 football with Pete Sousa.
You know, it's funny. I'm from Philadelphia, but I live in Texas now. So it's a short trip tomorrow for me to the Star and Media Days. So, yeah, with that song rolling in, to Texas Pete here with you. I choose Texas. I choose Texas.
That song has caught the country world by storm. I think it's been like 12 weeks, #1 or something like that. It's quite the popular tune.
And if they had any more of a reason to be proud around here in Texas, they have another one. Yeah, it's very, very popular in these parts too.
And you're from Philadelphia?
Yeah, right outside. I grew up right where Villanova University is. So that first win of the season last year for BYU was a tough one for me because it was a loss. I've always followed Villanova sports. My mom worked there, during the Raleigh Massimino era. I kind of grew up in the shadows of the university. So it was some good times.
So what was your Jersey Shore of choice? Was it Ocean City?
Avalon. And I never, we never, not like we were totally slumming it, but we never had a place down there. So I would go and hang with friends that had houses, maybe Avalon or Ocean City. But most of my time was spent in Avalon. I love the Jersey Shore. I miss it.
Me too.
There you go. Where are you from? What's your relationship with the Jersey Shore?
All right, sorry, people. We're not going to talk Big 12 today. PK's going down memory lane.
I was born in North Jersey. My sister went to Glassboro. I lived down in South Jersey for a bit, had a job at a slide at Ocean City. And I'm not sure all these years later how I ended up in Utah, but here I am.
Hey, well, Utah's amazing. That's why we're going to have to take this offline, though, and compare notes at some point. This is good. You got me excited now. Almost as excited as I am for tomorrow in Big 12 Media Days.
Well, you two can go offline there and during some downtime and compare notes. PK is going to be camped out for 2 days, so go to town.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to many things about Big 12 Media Day. One of them is the resurrection of Oklahoma State football. In this era of the transfer portal, how quickly can you turn things around? They were really good until they were really bad. How quickly can they be really good again?
I think there is a little bit of too much excitement or too much optimism on a national level. And I'm not saying by any means this is a lazy opinion, even for me, because right away you think, oh, my gosh, Eric Morris, Drew Mestamaker, Caleb Hawkins, that trifecta can take this team. And are we looking at the next Indiana, right? I think that's why I say, at least myself, I got to pump the brakes a little bit, because when you look at some of the games that Mestamaker had last year, just some of that competition, it's far off from what he's going to be facing week in, week out in the Big 12. And Eric Morris is a brilliant coach, and he's bringing a lot of guys with him. But I'm very interested to see. This is, to me, one of the biggest or best litmus tests in the country to really see where we are right now, because this is a new frontier. We did see Indiana, and Curt Cignetti did it. Now, Curt Cignetti's elite, right? I'm not saying that Eric Morris is nearing that conversation, but I am saying I want to see more of this, right? More of these, whether it's Group of Five or FCS schools that collectively move up to a Power Four conference. I need a little bit more evidence, a bigger body of work to just be right away, oh, they're going to turn it around. The Big 12 is a damn good conference. And I don't know that you can just walk in there and be 8-4 or 7-5. I have them at 5-7, and that's still great because they didn't win one conference game last year.
Yeah, that's amazing that they fell off that much, and so pretty much anything will be an improvement. It's just a question of what level of improvement they will make. The Sorsby thing took over the country for a day or two or a week or so. And I'm wondering, what you think as far as what's it going to be as being addressed here, whether it's by Yormark or what's Texas Tech going to be in terms of their attitude with Joey McGuire. And I look at the players that they're bringing, and they did not bring a quarterback. They did not bring Hammond. And so I found that a little unusual. I know maybe he's rehabbing. I don't know. But I would have thought, because they bring, 6 guys or so and not a quarterback. How much of a story do you think that'll be?
It's going to have to be, talked about. It's definitely a storyline. Like, we're going to interview, I'm there with the Big 12 and Raycom, and we're interviewing every coach of every team and players from every team. So we'll have an opportunity to talk to Joey McGuire about it. I think you have to address it and just do your job and ask the question if you're me. At the same time, I think that it's kind of a shrewd PR move not to bring Will Hammond, so he doesn't have to live in that for a couple of days or at least a day. I think that Brett Yormark may address it too, because you've got two groupings, right? Say what you want about Texas Tech, they're not afraid. They will talk about it. And Brett Yormark, I thought he was the one guy who was actually the big winner in this whole thing, because he didn't bend to Texas Tech. I mean, eventually. Brett Yormark in the Big 12 was the reason that Brendan Sorsby, and this is a shame, this stinks, but now he's kind of sidelined for this year, but that's a consequence. But all that being said, I think Will Hammond, I don't think it's that much of a drop-off. I think the number one question mark is Will Hammond's health. And from what I'm hearing, he'll be ready to go week 1. Initially, we thought, okay, maybe it's week 3, Houston. I have heard from folks in Lubbock, like, there's no way that would be his first snap, would be a conference game against Houston, and that he will be ready to play some of those non-con games. And if he's healthy, he's darn good. And I don't know that I think we gave a lot of life to the Sorsby situation because it was a very interesting story in it, and it says a lot about where we are in college sports and college football today with gambling and just the constant change. But Will Hammond's a really good quarterback, and I think that we'll be pleasantly surprised will Texas Tech fans be. And I think folks around the nation will just flat out be surprised. I don't think they'll drop off that much. The talent drop-off is like hardly anything. It's just a matter of, how well will he do physically, like a re-entry point into day-to-day, because that was a bad injury, and it was October, so it hasn't even been a year yet.
You mentioned Texas Tech, that conference opener week 3 with Houston. Houston's coming off a 10-3 season. They didn't play the Utes and Cougars. They did sweep the Arizona schools, so the back-to-back weeks, that's impressive. They got blown out by Texas Tech and lost to TCU. Are they paper tiger? Do you really think they're building something there? Can you put them in the top quarter of the league? What do you think?
I think you absolutely can put them in the top quarter of the league, and I think that Willie Fritz is a huge reason for that. I think that also when you see, the play of Connor Wegman last year, we finally got to see him, play a whole season healthy. That's a big deal. You talk to quarterbacks, and we just talked about Will Hammond and his health. Mental toughness, a lot of it comes from playing and being on the field. It sounds simple, but it's hard to stay healthy for these guys in a sport where it's just so brutal. And with Connor Wegman back, they got Amari Thomas back, a terrific wide receiver. Mekhi Lawrence is the running back. He was at Tulane with Willie Fritz, and now he's back with Willie Fritz, now at Houston. They've got the weapons to keep it going. Now, the schedule is going to be more difficult, and I think it is. I think, even BYU, their early slate last year was really manageable, and they took advantage. And Houston was the same way, and they build momentum, build confidence. Well, now it's going to be different. You're going to have early tests, and if you get knocked on your back in week 3, and beat up real good, how are you going to respond? So that game that we just talked about, I think you circle that one as an indicator as to where Houston's going to be. We'll find out early in the season. But I don't think they're a paper tiger. I think Willie Fritz is the real deal. And he was almost, to a fault, so patient as a coach. He was not, in a rush to get anywhere. So that's why he didn't really come on our radars till about 10 years ago. Spent a lot of time FCS and small Division I, and now here he is. And I think he's going to be here to stay. I believe people in Houston think there is a belief there that with all the success with college basketball and the influx of money to that university, not as much NIL as they would like, but better than it used to be. I think there's a confidence there. Like we may have something here for the whole athletic department, and Houston football is definitely a part of that.
We have some stability in the Big 12. We'll see how long it lasts, right? This is, the third year of these teams all being together. And the first year we had the Sun Devils. That's how I got west. I ended up moving to Phoenix and went to ASU, but if you're wondering. But anyway, so they were the big surprise. And I think last year, we can argue, you had at least a couple of surprises in Houston and Arizona, right? Because they were coming off horrible years. So if I were to ask you, which I will, obviously, which teams do you think can be a big surprise this year? So it would have to be somebody who is predicted to be in the bottom, whether it be Iowa State, Colorado. We mentioned Oklahoma State to a degree. Do you think there will be surprise one or two teams? And if so, who?
Well, I think the team that I have, it's funny, we gave in order to prep for all these preview shows for each team, and it was a great exercise. I hadn't done this in a while. You go down and you just do everybody's record, and you kind of have to have, I'm terrible at math, but you have to have a matrix feel, right? Like you can't say Houston's going to beat Texas Tech, when you're doing it on Tuesday, and then Thursday you're doing it, and you're going through Texas Tech schedule. It's like, oh, yeah, well, I can't say Texas Tech's going to beat Houston because, so you have to, for someone like me, that's not as easy as it sounds. So I had to make sure all that was in line. And once I figured that out, I looked down at my record and I said, wow, I have UCF at 8-4 or 7-5. And that is a school to me where, first of all, the state of Florida, they just have guys. Last year I was calling a UCF game, and Scott Frost was talking to us on a Friday, and he was describing a kid, and he said, he's just a Florida kid. And, you could tell he had an affinity for this young man. I said, well, what does that mean? He's a Florida kid. He said, dude, it means he loves football, will play all day, and it's what he was raised on. And that's one of the reasons he came back, because he knew it was a fertile ground. Like everywhere you turn around, you've got another Hoss, right, that you can recruit. So there's that at UCF, right? And then you've got Alonzo Barnett, who is a quarterback coming over, was at JMU last year in the college football playoff. And really the rhythms of the JMU offense, not dissimilar to what they're doing at UCF. And I believe UCF could be primed for, they're not going to go undefeated, right, like they did in Scott Frost's first tour of duty, but they got dudes. And I think they're going to be a lot better than people think. I like them a lot to be a surprising team in the Big 12. And look, I thought that was a great point about the stability. And by the way, I knew the Arizona State story because I'm curious. I've asked questions before.
Okay.
But because that is a neat little thread. But no, I think that UCF is a team that will surprise a lot of people. And I think it's going to be fun. I think the stability is cool in the Big 12. This is only the second year where we're not introducing a new team to the rest of the conference. But UCF is a team that I think we will be looking at late in the season towards the top of the conference.
Okay.
Arizona had been down for so long. They were kind of an afterthought. That was a good year for them last year. Do you think they back it up?
It was a great year. I think that the schematics on defense will be huge for Arizona because as well as they played last year, they lost a bunch of guys to the draft. Your quarterback could be one of the more overlooked, and you could maybe say physically, no pun intended. And part of the reason he doesn't get props, I think, is because Noah Fite is 5'10", but he's about to be the all-time leading passer in Arizona history. And, I think he'll pass Nick Foles, right, to break that record at some point this year, you would think, God willing, for him. It's just kind of a matter of staying healthy. But what Brett Brennan has done as far as infusing confidence into his entire roster, like a belief of winning. They ended last year really hot. Now, defense had a lot to do with that. So their ability to maintain or sustain success defensively will really dictate a lot of their success. But the pieces are there. The excitement is there. I grew up, I love the Desert Swarm. I mean, Dick Tomey, it's there. It's there for Arizona. People really care in Tucson as well. But this is a huge year for them. I totally agree, to build on last year. But I believe they can do it.
We want to see the Big 12 succeed as a conference as much as possible, and it's been a little bit of a bummer that they haven't gotten two teams into the playoff. Do you think that there'll be the two teams that are left standing when we get to December? Will at least one of them have a bid already secured and don't necessarily need to win the conference title game?
Absolutely. And I think it's good news for folks, that follow BYU. I think that the Notre Dame game on BYU's schedule is huge this season because I think Notre Dame's going to be really good. I think the fact that they're playing in Provo gives BYU every opportunity not only to win that game or to make it at least a one-score game. And then when I look at the rest of BYU's schedule and I see 13 starters coming back, I feel very good about the Cougars going 11-1 in the regular season. And I have Texas Tech going undefeated. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. These are just, this is just a vibe I have with all the information that we've gathered and the, reporting basically and coverage I do. But I think those two teams have a very good chance at making the college football playoff. And I think that this could be the year that they do it. And I think that the non-con opponent like Notre Dame, because Texas Tech's schedule is just not tough. And I would, if you haven't done it yet, just go game by game. It's tough to find a loss there. Even without Brendan Sorsby. I mean, if Sorsby was healthy this year, I saw Brett McMurphy. I read this, but it was an eye-opener that, Texas Tech was going to be a 2-touchdown favorite in all its conference games. So you would imagine they would still roll. That's why they play the game. Upsets happen. But I have Texas Tech and BYU both making the college football playoff. And I think I just gave some good reasons why.
When you do that week-by-week thing, when you get to week 2, there's a lot of big, high-profile non-conference games there. Arizona State's at Texas A&M. Missouri is at Kansas. Iowa State is at Iowa. Texas Tech's at Oregon State. I either see wins for the Big 12 that aren't impressive, Texas Tech at Oregon State, no one's going to give them a lot of credit for that, or I see the Big 12 in trouble. How's the league going to make a big splash? Or they're not going to. It's just going to be one or two teams are going to pile up wins, and that scenario, which you just laid out, is really the path for the Big 12.
Yeah, I believe that is the path. I don't want to say the conference is top heavy, but when we talk about the playoff, right, we're talking about a 12-team playoff right now, and and I do totally agree. I think that Arizona State at Texas A&M, I'm like, oof, that could be rough. That's just on paper. That's what just jumps off the page at me. I do think Kansas and Missouri. I think Kansas is due there. And I think that Kansas could be a team that surprises a little bit. They got to figure out exactly what's going on under center. But I again, it's so interesting because that's why football is the best sport, in my opinion, because it's almost like every week you're getting ready to go on vacation, right? Like you see who your team is playing and you talk about it all week and you get excited. And then Friday comes and you get in the car and you're headed off to this vacation destination. Now, sometimes the vacation can be a total flop, right? Your team can get whacked. But afterwards, you talk about that amazing or tough vacation, and then you're talking about the next one. And I think that as fans, we get so hyperbolic about, the Big 12 lost a bunch of non-con games, to SEC opponents or opponents from other conferences. But at the end of the year, we're not necessarily talking about that anymore. I feel like that's more of a pride thing. At the end of the year, because you mentioned it will be unimpressive wins either way. So down the stretch, though, it's like, where are you standing and do you win? Does your conference win? Again, like I talked about, like, can BYU beat Notre Dame? Because I don't think Arizona State can beat Texas A&M, but I do think BYU can beat Notre Dame, and I think that ultimately the postseason then gives you an opportunity. Like, I'm not saying it was an embarrassment, but I'm kind of like you guys. I want to see the conference do well. It was a total bummer to see Texas Tech get blanked last year. Like, that was just a bummer. And I do think this conference, as it grows, like Texas Tech was not a one-year wonder. And I appreciate the fact that they should be back in the college football playoff with the chance to atone. Can BYU be there too? Absolutely.
Do you think Yormark and the conference need to do a better job of politicking? Because it seemed like he low-keyed it in terms of pushing for BYU to get in.
Yeah, I do a little bit. I think there's something to be said there. One of the best parts about Brett Yormark is that he's not a Yahoo. Honestly, like, he's not going to tell you the sky is purple. That's just not how he rolls, which you appreciate, which makes him more measured. And honestly, if you look at what he was working with when he got to the Big 12 and where it's at now, I think he's done the best job of any commissioner in college sports. Now, that being said, sometimes you need somebody to pound their chest for said team, and that's just not his personality. He tries to do it more from a strategy standpoint. Long term, I ride with Brett Yormark anywhere, but I definitely could see how someone is like, hey, why isn't he going all in, 10 toes down, as the kids say, for our team to make the college football playoff? I agree with you there. I definitely see the point there, but I don't think he'll ever do that.
Two disappointments: him not selling BYU and selling 2 football bids for the league harder. I mean, maybe be selling that even before you know who the teams are.
Yeah,
and then on top
of
that, the glass court thing at the conference tournament, that wasn't good.
Okay, but let's go. Here's the glass tournament thing. The glass floor thing, because I was boots on the glass, I guess you could say, for that one. But I was calling the American tournament, and then all that stuff happened. I got back to Texas, and the court was gone. Which you got to give them credit for that. Like to do an about face and to eat it, I thought was impressive. But at the end of the day, you could look at the totality of the situation and say, well, maybe that was a little too aggressive with the glass court. Yeah, but I swear, Yormark has done, in my opinion, a tremendous job. Tremendous.
When you go down the shore, don't you love a good pork roll?
I love a good pork roll. I love Mac and Manco's pizza. I like cheesesteaks, too. I like it all. And I like the beach, too. I miss it here. I'm around a bunch of lakes in Texas, which I love Texas, but I miss the waves for sure. You guys are lucky. Enough. At least you're close out there. Yeah.
See, the thing about growing up in California is the beach was free. I don't know about this beach tags thing. I can't wrap my brain around that.
It drives me crazy. It drives me bananas.
It
drives me bananas. Beach. Yeah, I mean, I'm a grown man. I'm walking onto your beach. What's going to go down? What am I planning on doing? Am I going to set up a tent there and stay the week? No, I just want to come enjoy the beach. I'll tell people how great it was. But let me hang. I agree.
Yeah. Pete, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. As always, you and PK can spend a couple days comparing notes in Texas.
I'm looking forward to it. Guys, thank you so much. PK, I will see you at the Star, baby.
Okay.
Keep it soon. All right, thanks, Pete.
Choosing Texas, I can tell.
All right, there's Pete Sousa. We'll take a break. When we come back, 7 o'clock hour, a lot of college football on the way in the 7 o'clock hour. Things start heating up at Big 12 Media Days. Stay with us. right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast! An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
The football season is nearly here, and we're getting you ready for kickoff. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas, presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is me doing my best David James impersonation. Hello, everybody. Stay safe out there.
Ooh, well, you know, Scotty, and that's Scott Gerard and DJ and PK. He's going to be hosting. I have to say, this is no offense to my partner, but these are my two most favorite days of radio all year.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say two most favorite people.
I was looking forward to that.
No, I think you're probably third and fourth.
Yeah.
You have been giving us the power rankings leading up to this. We are live here in Frisco, Texas. Gather around the radio, folks. That's another DJ line I stole. This is Big 12 Media Day. Jam-packed 2 straight days of nothing but college football talk. This is the unofficial kickoff of the 2026 season, and let's go.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, this year is going to be so cool. These next 2 days are going to be so cool because, you know, we had for, 13 years – BYU and Utah weren't in the same conference, obviously, and then they got back together. And then this year, as it was last year, we were a little unsure of what we were having because Dampier was new at the U, and Bachmeier was thrown in, and basically a few weeks before the start of the season. And they both turned into great seasons, and now both guys are back. So the point I'm making is both teams, as we get deep into November, are expected to contend, and that's exciting for our market. It is. I know BYU fans want Utah to suck and vice versa, but for us and what we do, we want them both to be good as long as possible, and I believe both. And it could actually end up, I don't know what the odds would be, but it could possibly end up that we're back in this Metroplex in December because they're playing each other at the Cowboys Stadium, and that's the voice of Tim Lacombe. He's going to be with us today, too.
Timmy, welcome to the other side, man. Welcome to your first ever football media day.
Yeah, I actually completely joined. It says member of the media.
You are?
I've got a bunch of these that say participant. Now I'm throwing the media one in. No, it's great to be here with you guys, and obviously my first – I've been to several conference events basketball-wise, but I have to tell you why we went. My job was to get Coach Rose a ride down there with one of our good friends of the program, if you know what I mean, had a plane. And if I was able to get that done, then we took a couple guys that were friends of the program to golf. So I would take the golf group. Coach would go to his meetings, and then we'd meet up and go. So that was my experience with it.
Right.
But this is quite a deal, man. This is it. We're in Texas, and Texas and football is religion.
You know, and we, Coach and I, when we walked out to take the stroll down here, you got hit with that immediate July Texas humidity. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it was warm. Yeah, with the sun beating down. We are at the Star, which is where the Cowboys do all their practice stuff. And right down on the south end is a big plaza, big screen. There were thousands of people watching the U.S. soccer team roll over and play dead last night. I was out there, had dinner in the Cowboy Club. Jake Hatch has a friend, and he got us in there, and that was really cool. And this place is, and Tim, people may not know, you have a residency experience here, basically. You participated in high school sports here, right?
Yes, I did. I played right here in the Metroplex at Plano Senior High School, and I use the word play loosely. I was on the roster. I was rostered, played a little. But, yeah, I lived here for a couple of years, and I was telling Scotty as we took the Uber in last night, a 25 or 26-minute Uber from the airport, that this is just fields. Like as far as you could see, it was just fields and country out here when I was going. I was out here in 86, 85 to 87, somewhere in there. So it's been a long time.
And this place is just blowing up. And, Jerry Jones sunk a ton of money into this place, and boom, it blew up.
Oh, yeah. I think what I was told is that the city put in some money. The school district put in some money, millions, and then Jerry put in over $1 billion. And so this facility seats 12,000. We'll end up getting kids who will tell you from schools today and tomorrow that they played in this facility. Like Jordan Tyson, the great receiver from the Sun Devils. He said, yeah, I caught a touchdown pass in a playoff game right over there last year. So they are from, and obviously Texas is just so football rich. There'll be tons of kids, players that'll be from Texas. And someone will tell you, yeah, I played in here. And this is where they have high school games and events and all. And this is a cool setup. We did it. The Big 12 did it the first year of BYU being in at Allegiant Stadium, and that was a little overwhelming because it's so huge. Here, this 12,000, so you got bleachers on each side of the stadium. The end zones don't have them, so it's not a bowl-shaped, but it's a good-sized stadium for high school events. And I know, talking to some of these kids, they were excited about the opportunity to come in here and play and do all the stuff that they do. And right now it's a little quiet, but they should be getting here at any time. They're starting to roll in, and then the flood of coaches and players comes in, and away we go. And we're in the I think we're in the east end zone, and the west end zone is where they have the stage. So they have that doesn't start till like 11, and they bring up all the coaches, and then they talk. And it's going to be interesting because everyone's going to have a story to tell. Morgan Scally is brand new. This is his first one. Obviously, Kalani's been here, and then when Dion makes his appearance, it's rock star-ish.
Yeah.
And Joe McGuire, Texas Tech.
Oh,
yeah.
We got a Texas Tech station just about 15 yards from where we're at, and already everybody's giving those dudes the evil eye as they walk in.
They actually have like an area painted around them, like that you would a dead body. You have to walk around their table.
A police drawing?
Yeah. Do not walk here. Bad stuff happened.
And Scotty, we were talking about this off air. You and I think it was you, me, and Ben Bagley came down the very first Pac-12 meeting, and it was at one of the movie studios.
Yeah.
And we walk around the corner, and there was a certain person representing the U of U who says to me, "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be covering BYU."
I was wearing a blue golf shirt, and I got all kinds of grief for just wearing a blue shirt. And I didn't even think twice about it. I had like a blue golf shirt on, and they're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I know you're a Cougar.
Yeah.
What?
I know they assign us stuff. I mean, obviously being from New Jersey and my background was a hardcore Cougar fan as a boy.
Oh, yeah.
But it was so exciting then, and there was a bunch of radio stations, and then by year 5, there was just a few, and then by year 6 and 7, less and less. Well, here in the Big 12, there must be 30, 40 places set up for it. As far as live broadcasts or their taping. Of course, we go live. Others will tape their stuff because it's not that important to go live.
No.
We'll go live from 7 until 6 o'clock both days. KSL's got like 10 people here covered across all platforms in digital and radio and internet and television. The big dog recognizes big dog events, and this is a big dog event.
It really is. It really is. And that's the fun part about being part of this group is that, look, we've got whether it's KSLSports.com, whether it's us, TV, we got this thing flat out covered from top to bottom. So you're going to hear from all the coaches, players. All right, so just to give you a schedule, today the teams that will be represented, Arizona State, Baylor, Central Florida, Colorado, Houston, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and BYU. So today will be BYU's day. Tomorrow will be University of Utah's day. They'll be teamed up with Arizona, Cincinnati, Iowa State, Kansas, Kansas State, TCU, and West Virginia. So that'll be your lineup. So if you're a diehard Utah fan hoping to hear from Morgan Scally, that's going to come up tomorrow. Today, it'll be BYU, and you've got Bear Bachmeyer will be here, Isaiah Glasker, Evan Johnson, L.J. Martin, who, by the way, was named the preseason Offensive Player of the Year. So a lot of expectations with L.J. Martin, along with Bruce Mitchell and Keanu Tanuvasa will be here.
Yeah, I think that as far as L.J. Martin goes, knock on wood, he stays healthy. I don't think that it's out of the question to shoot for 1,200 yards. Do you want to go 1,500 yards? I think both of those are on the table because he's really, really good. And I love the way he runs. Some guys labor a little bit when they run. This guy, like he's running 2 feet above the air.
Yeah.
Above the ground. He just is so smooth and never seems to get off balance. It's hard to get a good shot on him. And so excited for that. And Bachmeyer, obviously, at this time last year, was the great unknown. And he wins the job, and away he goes. And this year, expectations are through the roof now for him to be a big-time quarterback and for Aaron Roderick to unleash the total package of the playbook, because this kid's got the intelligence, he's got the skill set, he's got pretty much everything that you need. And so their offense is going to be something that may be more diversified. And they're going to need it because they took a blow at the receiver ranks there. Losing some guys, obviously, with the Kingston issue there. And he was their leading receiver last year, a leading returner, and who knows what's going to happen there. But they're going to have to go and exploit other weapons.
You know, because in my infinite wisdom, I kept telling everybody that McKay Hillstead's going to be the starter. He'll take over and hold down the fort while they figure out that position. Yes, this year he will be the starting quarterback in Logan for Utah State. Because never in a million years when the Retzlaff thing happened, you're thinking, okay, BYU is really set up to do something special, and now they'll either go with a undersized kid or they'll have to go with a true freshman. And they went with the freshman, and they didn't really struggle at all from an offensive standpoint with Bear Bachmeyer. Now you take what he did last year, and what do you expect? All right, you got to build on that. You got to be better. And the book's out on him. Every defensive coordinator in this conference has spent all summer saying, all right, what are we going to do with him and L.J. Martin? How are we going to slow this thing down? So he's got a big bullseye on his back coming into this season, Coach.
Yeah, and that's where you wish you had a little more confidence in the receivers on the roster. But, just like Bear, he was an unknown. None of us knew a thing about him. We knew his name and where he came from. But he ended up in my mind, one of the cooler stories in BYU football history when they certainly needed a guy to step up, and not a heralded guy at all, but definitely did a great job. I think for him to take the next step, it's being able to complete more throws downfield, be able to stretch the defense. But you got to feel comfortable at least with LJ because you've got a built-in way to move the football. A built-in way to move the chains, which hopefully will allow Bear to continue to develop.
Yeah, I think so, Tim. I think that's exactly what they're looking for, is to expand his game, which obviously then in turn expands the offensive game, right? You got the both in that situation. So from that perspective, let's go down that road, expand offensively, individually, then expands offensively, and away you go. And it's going to have to be that way because I think last year with the situation being what it was, they were more conservative because they had a pretty good defense. So let's not screw it all up.
Yeah.
And now this year, you still don't want to put the defense in bad spots. You never want to do that. But I think you can take more opportunities. As long as the kids can get open downfield, they got to be able to be downfield to get themselves available to get the ball thrown. Who's it going to be? JoJo Phillips, I think, is at the top of the list because he's been in the program now a number of years. And you look at him and he looks like, okay, this kid's got the prototype body of being able to catch the ball. He had some injury issues last year. He had a couple drops in the Texas Tech game the first time around. So what does he do? It's, in a sense, for him, it's put up or shut up. Do you want to be a big-time receiver? You could be a good receiver, and he is a good receiver. But do you want to be a big-time receiver? Do you want to be a 1,000-yard kid? And it seems like that should be the expectation. So if I'm him, I'm just so fired up to show everybody I'm not only good, I'm really good, I'm NFL quality, right? And that's where we're at. And then they're going to have to find a couple other kids. The youngest Nakua kid who's been in the program, this is his third year, comes to mind, and there's some others. And as Coach says, there'll be some guys that maybe surprise us because they got some transfers in, and they got that Reggie kid who's been in the program for a couple of years. I think this is going into his second year. So, yeah, you got all that stuff going on. So it's an exciting time for BYU and their offense. And their defense, well, now Papinga's got to prove we didn't miss a beat. This wasn't Jay Hill, give him all the credit in the world, no problem. But life goes on, man. And he wasn't going to be the defensive coordinator very long.
No.
Something was going to happen because he's just that good. And he had at least one job offer in the state that he turned down.
Oh, yeah.
We know that. It might be up at the I don't want to name schools, but at the northern end of the state.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't going to be there. So now the defense and the coaches got to prove that it was about everybody. It wasn't about one individual calling the shots.
But it will be interesting from that defensive standpoint, too. You know, everybody's looking at Morgan Scalley and like, okay, you got to replace the man. And make no mistake, Morgan's got the biggest pressure point on him this year.
Oh, yeah.
But Kelly Papinga is actually not that far behind.
Right.
Like, we're going to talk about Morgan. How do you replace a guy? Well, Jay Hill did things at BYU defensively that, frankly, nobody's ever done. We've never looked at BYU and said their back end is their best part of their defense. When you looked at, the safeties that he was able to build, the corner play, and how they were able to be so good in the back end of a defense. And, you can say any reason as to why that's been the case at BYU, but usually linebackers and defensive linemen grow on trees here in Utah, but the back end specialists, not so much. But yet they got that rolling at BYU, and now you've got to keep that going. And look, I mean, you saw Shedeur Sanders, who, you can make any joke about him in the NFL, but he's still an NFL quarterback, and how he goes over to the sidelines and says, I don't know what they're doing in that bowl game against BYU. I can't figure it out. And Jay Hill had Colorado so flummoxed in that game defensively that they were just a complete and total mess. And if Kelly can keep that tradition up of being diversified defensively, throw the kitchen sink, confuse offenses, then they'll be just fine. But those are big shoes to fill for him.
One thing that I am confident in is, while they don't have guys like Jack Kelly and Tanner Wall, they've got Glasker and they got Satuala, and obviously he's got to come back from an injury. But I just like the makeup, and I feel like more so than just the execution. Part of this is execution, but it was just the departure from what seemed to be a lot of mistakes, in years prior on the defensive side, jumping off sides and not enough men on the field. It was like Jay came in and he figured out a way to just tighten everything down. And from my experience, while he's not the guy, you do glean quite a bit from masterful teachers, and I think that's what Jay is.
Yeah,
and so for Kelly, like, it's just this is just the next step in his evolution. But I watched him run along the backside of that end zone at halftime as an intern, 16, 18 years ago when he first got into it. And I looked at his resume, and there is not a step that he has skipped. Like, he has been in the details of this, and that's why I think he's going to be great.
Yeah, it's funny. I covered him as a player when I was working
you don't
for
say.
the Tribune. Yeah, heavy. I'm old.
Well, you may have even been on the Utah State beat for that year when he was there, because Kelly played that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, don't we've got to always acknowledge the Aggies.
I did cover the Aggies for a season, and that was fun. I enjoyed it very much. Really no different. Obviously, BYU more attention and whatnot, but the people in Logan work just as hard at football as they do any place else, obviously. And I want them to succeed now because Bronco's my guy. And with that in mind, Bronco. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Your guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was on the beat when he took over, man. I had the I don't know what word I wouldn't say misfortune. I had the experience of covering the 3 worst seasons in BYU history.
Try that.
I was the beat guy all 3 years, man.
Wow.
We were talking off here how some guys talk about how 2 years was long.
Like, get Kinahan out of here, man. He's killing us.
And we knocked heads a few times. If you're ever around Darnell Dixon, ask him. He'll tell you a story, the Provo Herald, of being in a big-time confrontation once. And so with that in mind, I watched Kelly and his evolution, as Coach says, where he was and where he is now. And so I know him really well. Sat with him a couple years ago at a high school basketball game for a recruit that they had their eye on in football. I mean, I literally sat next to him the whole time because it was at Corner Canyon, and I went to a lot of their games with my wife being associated there and knowing the coaches and all that stuff. And Kelly, the funny thing is, he will acknowledge this. You talk about, Coach, getting the training that they had, and it's like the godfather of defense in this state of Utah is a guy who's deceased now. We call Big Fred, and that's Fred Whittingham.
Yep.
And Bronco once told me this story. His brother Matt played in the NFL, played at BYU, and Bronco told me that Matt, who was bigger than Bronco, played defensive line, that Matt said that the best defensive coach he ever had was Big Fred. And then Big Fred imparted it to Kyle. This is like the book of Genesis or something.
And then he begat.
Yes. And so Kyle teaches it to Kalani, teaches it to Jay, teaches it to Gary Anderson, and those guys then intersect. Kelly Papinga comes along, and he acknowledges that he said he never coached under Big Fred or played under Big Fred or his son Kyle for that matter, but he understands the influence that those guys had and passed it down. And so the point being, Kelly has been extremely well trained for this position at this time. So it was an obvious move. Plus, he's an outstanding people person. His brother Brady, a little bit nuts. And I've told Brady this, so I'm not saying
What's
anything.
wrong with that?
There's nothing. That's just the way Brady was. And when I would interview him as a player, I made sure I stood back 5 feet because I never know if he was going to slug me. I mean, the guy was super intense. And Kelly told me a story one time. He said, yeah, they had a family issue. And he goes to Brady. He said, now, Brady, I need you to calm down before I tell you this. And Kelly is so relatable to everybody, and he's a great recruiter, and now he's got this mastermind of knowledge, and it's his opportunity to impart that. And the good thing about it, he's got horses on the field that you can be the greatest coach ever. Jerry Sloan, who I admire more than any coach I've ever been around, that 1 year after the Statues left, he didn't have a lot of talent, but he still went 42-40.
42-40, the best coaching job in the history of the NBA.
Yeah, right? And so coaching is, and you know this, you've coached, that it's about getting whatever talent you have out of that, maximize the talent. Some teams are more talented than others. BYU has some NFL talent at all three levels on this defense, and so he's got some dogs to work with, and that defense can be really good. And they're going to need to be because there's some pretty good offenses in this Big 12.
There's two very underrated figures in this upcoming college football season. Number one, and he's not overlooked by any stretch, one is, but Gary Anderson's obviously going to be huge. The fact that he's back at BYU and a disciple of that defense, he's going to be huge for Kelly Papinga to really help him out. And, look, I've known Gary forever. You've known Gary. Gary is a guy that's just going to sit there and tell you exactly what you need to hear, whether you want to hear it or not, and he'll be a great sounding board for Kelly Papinga. On the other side, for University of Utah, I think Alex Gerke is a huge going to be a huge influence on Jordan Gross with that offensive line. I don't know if Jordan Gross is ready to be a college football position coach, but he is. But Alex Gerke is going to be absolutely huge in helping his development as well because he's been around the block. So those are two guys that may not be getting a lot of the limelight in terms of their responsibility for their individual teams, but are absolutely going to be critical.
Well, I just want to come back. I'm going to rebut the fact that you and Bronco are – because, we're guys. I mean, did you hear last week at all? Bronco and I?
I'm saying, I got that. I got the caveman spiel.
All right. I just want to make sure you knew.
I didn't say I'm his guy.
Oh.
I said he's my guy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a Jersey thing.
He may not even remember me. He may just look right through me.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
He remembers.
Now, this is, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, these things are great because nobody's lost a game.
Oh, yeah, the optimism abounds. I feel a little uncomfortable. It's not my way of life.
Like you want somebody to suffer, right? And then you do your best work. Hey, look, the rebel just walked in. No, not Cody Campbell, the actual mascot. Not the Rebel, but the Red Raider.
The Red Raider. Oh,
Yeah,
they are
he's
the
over
rebels.
there in mascot.
Hey,
form.
this skirting laws and rules and
Oh, yeah.
standards.
He's got a judge in a cloak
Yeah,
following him around.
If they were actually going to have fun and lean into it, they'd have him like in a judge's robe with a gavel.
You know how Cosmo or they'll put on uniforms.
You guys know who Cody Campbell is, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and so he was here last year.
Yeah, he made this.
And he prances around and makes himself available for interviews.
Oh, well, we'll take him, right? That'd be good stuff.
He came on our show last year.
I remember. I was listening.
And I have a lot of respect for him as far as what he's trying to do for women's sports and collegiate sports, because I believe it's earnest. But at the same time, push comes to shove. I used to say when dads would coach their kids at the college or at the college level, high school, especially the high school level, when it comes down to it, they're a dad first. And so they're going to make sure their son gets all the advantages, right? We've seen that over the years, and obviously BYU basketball had that a long time ago, and that created issues. They were good enough, certainly, but just the appearance. And I think Cody Campbell, he showed his true colors a little bit in where it was just about Texas Tech first. And so, I want to help sports, but I also want to help, most important, Texas Tech, because I thought he lost a little bit of credibility there as far as some of the stuff that he was saying. He's going to have to rebuild that. I do think he's good for college sports, and he's great for Texas Tech, obviously. And all of a sudden, they became the enemy in the Big 12 that everybody's shooting for.
See some blue over there in the corner now, too. See some Cougar blue.
Yeah,
so
some
people
Cougars.
are starting to make their way in.
We'll take our first break. You're listening to Big 12 Media Day coverage brought to you by Omada Real Estate. Big thanks to them for, I tell you what, Omada, we thank them for being a part of it, but we took Nate Dowdle's budget and just blew it out of the water. There's 10 representatives of KSL Sports and KSLSports.com here, so we got you covered, and you can watch us live on the video stream. Big thanks to Stone for coming out here and setting up all the gear. So you can go to YouTube, just search KSL Sports, and see the live video stream with all the coaches and players. You can also go to KSLSports.com and catch the video feed there as well. It's Big 12 Media Day live here in Frisco, Texas, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on the scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
All the insight and analysis of the Cougars, Utes, and the rest of the conference. Live from Frisco, Texas, this is Big 12 Media Day coverage on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is the Big 12 Media Day coverage. We are live here in Frisco, Texas. This segment sponsored by Shamrock Plumbing. No job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. All right, so coaches, players starting to filter in. We'll have all of them throughout the day right here on the zone. In case you're just joining us today, we'll feature Arizona State, Baylor, BYU will be today, Central Florida, Colorado, Houston, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. Then tomorrow, the group of teams and coaches will be Arizona, Cincinnati, Iowa State, Kansas, Kansas State, TCU, Utah, and West Virginia. I always like talking to Rich Rod. He's always one of my favorites.
Rich Rod is a character, yeah. And he's older now, and his filter isn't there all that much. He'll tell you what he thinks. He had a nice season under the circumstances of bringing in like 70 new players last year, and they were competitive. They got better as the season progressed with a young quarterback, and that's really all you can do in a rebuild situation. And so, he's looking. There's going to be the conference has had 2 years with this configuration, right? And The first year, we know the Devils, they did a poll, they picked 16th, and they stopped the poll. And they won it, right? This is a shocker. And then last year, having Texas Tech win it wasn't a shocker with all the money they spent. But I think BYU is a surprise. Houston, you can say, was a shocker. Arizona. So we've had some teams that weren't expected to be good in terms of the Devils winning it all. Now, there's going to be a team or two this year.
Yeah.
And is it going to be West Virginia? Is it going to be Central Florida? Oklahoma State's getting a lot of run. Oklahoma State has the most continuity of any program that does not supposed to have any continuity because they're North Texas people from this area where we're at. Just a lot of them just moved over to Stillwater. So they're new to Stillwater, but the head coach, the coordinators, both coordinators, the quarterback, who's a NFL prospect, the leading receiver, the leading rusher, all those guys were at North Texas, and now they're going to be for Oklahoma State. And they only won one game. They didn't win a game in conference. I think they've gone 2 years now since this conference has been this together with one conference win. Oklahoma State.
And if you want to come after somebody, come after me. I'm 40.
Yeah, I'm unemployed.
That's one of the great lines of all time. Of course, Gundy.
Yeah, and he was the longest tenured coach. He was he and Kyle were there for the same time, but he was hired like 2 days before Kyle. And he had seniority, so when they got together and did a Mexico trip, he got first opportunity to go because he had seniority over the guy, even though it was just like 2 days.
That's a deep cut, folks. A very deep cut that not a lot of people will reference. In fact, I think DJ may be back in studio smiling, and between the three of us, that's about all who get that reference.
Well, you were in the room, so you got it.
Oh, yeah, the three of us, yeah.
That was for you.
Yeah.
Short distance dedication.
We're going to stay close on this one.
Oh, I'll tell you this story during the break. I
want to hear it.
Well, he's got seniority. So.
Scotty, I'm going to hear about that one.
Oh, that was a common thing with that guy in meetings. North Texas had such a fun year last year, and so that coach takes over Oklahoma State. You bring up the quarterback who everybody talks about his story that never played in high school and then becomes a superstar. So now he'll be
first-round pick
in the backfield there for Oklahoma State. So yeah, I think there's a lot of people. But you're right though, and you told me this when Utah got into the Pac-12. There will always be a team because we got so used to. When we were covering the Mountain West with Utah and BYU, we just knew every year it was going to be TCU, BYU, and Utah. And the only question is, what was the order going to be?
Right, it's like two games all season. You woke up on a Saturday not sure what was going to happen.
But when we got into the Pac-12, or when we started covering the Pac-12 and Utah became part of that conference, then you brought up, hey, look, there's going to be a team that we expect to be good that won't be good, and there will be a team that we expect to be dog crap, and that they'll end up competing. And the big question is trying to figure out who those teams are going to be. And I think Oklahoma State very easily could be one of those teams that makes that jump up this year.
Yeah, with all the players that they brought over from North Texas. I spent the entire flight last night, at the airport with the delay, just pouring over stuff to get refreshed. And I see no reason why they're not at minimally bowl eligible, and also having the opportunity to maybe compete. Who knows, man? Who knows what's going to happen? 2 years ago, the four-way tie, and two of those. You could argue two, maybe three teams were a surprise. Iowa State probably wasn't, but the other three were. And last year, I don't think anybody had BYU in the conference final.
No.
Oh, I did.
Not this time. At this time this year. Last year, I mean.
Iowa State, they've all moved to Penn State, right? That's the way it works.
Yeah.
And this kid Mestamaker at Oklahoma State is terrific. I mean, he threw for 4,379 yards last year.
Yes, he did.
At North Texas. I mean, he threw the ball 463 times and completed almost 70% of those throws. So this is a guy who can really, really deliver it. And Oklahoma State needs a little something. I mean, it's been the mullet's gone, and it ain't coming back through the window.
It's not, no.
Anytime soon.
I think offensively they'll be very good. Defensively is the issue. 10 transfers expected to start. Only basically one returning starter from the first game. I think they had a cornerback got in there and started a little bit. So, but you never know with these transfers and how it all meshes. And these guys, recruiting now, they have guys on their staff that just review the film inside out, upside down of potential transfers. And that's how you rebuild and reload. And everything is about now. It used to be, a 2-3 year process. Now it's like a 2-3 month process. And you better put your best product on the field immediately because school XYZ already did it. So why can't you do it? And you're required to do it too.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. There's no honeymoon anymore. They're like, back in the day, it was like, okay, well, we need a full recruiting class to really judge a coach.
Yeah.
Now, you get 1.5 year. Like, if you don't have it going in the middle of year number 2, you're out.
Oh, we've seen that. The UCLA coach got fired barely a couple games into his second season last year.
Yep, there's no excuses anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it always was, the coaching profession in college was always high risk, high reward. But now it's higher risk, higher reward because the money's gone up, but also the risks and the expectations have shot through the roof. And that's just the way it is, man. And you are expected to turn that thing around. There is no grace period anymore. Even though there should be, but there's not much. They just don't allow it as much anymore. And I was going to say North Texas, but Oklahoma State is the classic example. So much pressure on these guys to win. I mean, I don't know how they deal with it. I mean, you did it a little bit, Coach, at the basketball, the pressure to win, and you could see it wear on coaches, how it just wears them down when things aren't going well.
Well, the hard part is it's not. I mean, you can't just go have a good year, great year, and have any time to celebrate. You basically hit a pinnacle, and that's the new standard.
Yeah.
When we went to the Sweet 16, then it just, getting to the tournament and winning.
You should be doing that every year now.
Yeah, right. And as you guys know, everybody has a budget. Everybody hires coaches. Everybody's looking for a competitive advantage, and it's a hard way to make a living. Coaching is a hard way of making a living.
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, live here at Big 12 Media Day as we've got complete coverage. And we've got you, look, from top to bottom. Can't beat what's going on here. And joining us now,
the stud
from BYU, Isaiah Glasker, kind enough to join us. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
We're fired up, man. It's good to chat with you. How's the offseason been for you?
It's been great. Really just recovering. I had surgery on my shoulder not too long ago, but it's feeling great now. So,
Isaiah, you had a breakout season, a breakout game last 2 years ago in this very state, up the road a little bit against SMU. Who's that number 16 kid? Wow. And then you've carried it through the whole season, and last year, we know who you are. Now you're going into your third year of being a big-time player, and we expect big things out of you, and I know we'll get it. I'm wondering, you had a little change with Jay Hill versus Kelly Papinga, and cornerback coach, not your position, leaves too to go to Michigan. What's the change been like, and what can we expect if anything is different?
Well, really, Papinga, he's a linebacker guy. So
your guy.
Yeah, for sure. Really, just having him and Kalani, it's been great. And I don't know, them allowing us to play free. I feel like Jay Hill was a great coach, and he's going to be super successful in Michigan. But I'm super excited to see what Papinga is going to bring. So.
You lose a little bit of help there in that linebacking core. Zach Kelly, there's so many guys, Jack Kelly, sorry, brought so much to the table. How do you fill those roles, not just on the field, but in the locker room as well?
Yeah, really, Jack Kelly, I'm going to miss that guy. But we just got this transfer from Cal, Kedu Luave, and he's looking like a stud. So I'm super excited to play with him. And then you got guys like Siale Acera, Ace Kafusi, these other guys that I think can make some noise too. So,
by the way, I was talking to Gary Anderson, and he brought up that name specifically. He said, watch out for this guy. He's going to be a problem.
Which one?
Teddy.
Hey, if Isaiah's saying that, then I'm going to definitely make a note of that because you're a guy that definitely made a ton of highlight films last year and highlight plays. This season, an opportunity to take another step and continue to lead, be a leader out there. How are you approaching that part of your job this year?
Well, I feel like really even from last year, these older guys like Jack Kelly, being able to, be in the same room as him, see what type of leader he was, and really just help these young guys that are coming up to I don't know, just learn the plays and kind of get in the system and how stuff works at BYU. So
this is really your time thinking that, because you're going to go off to the NFL, and I know you don't really want to talk about the NFL because you're focused on this year, but it's not like a make or break, but in a sense, this is your last chance at the college level. And what does that mean to you to be able to make sure individually, I'm sure you'll go out on a high note, but have the team too, because that's it for you?
Really, I feel like every year we just get one step closer. Like the year before, 11-2, barely missed the playoffs. This past year, we 12 wins, barely missed the playoffs. And I feel like this year, if we could just take one more step closer, then I feel like we can get there. So.
You know, you kind of, especially with the quarterback situation, you kind of flew under the radar a little bit going into last year. You got a big bullseye on your chest this year. Everybody's looking at you. What's that mentality shift like for this team?
I feel like really we don't take that into part. I feel like we're more focused on just what we can do as a team. We're not too worried about what everybody else is doing, as long as we can figure out and do the things that we need to do. I feel like we can make big things happen. So.
The offensive side of the ball got a great news in the offseason when LJ decided to come back, and certainly helps Bear a lot. How's the offense looking? Those guys probably getting together and doing some timing drills and things like that, but your thoughts on the offense?
I think the offense is going to be great. We got LJ coming back. Bear's going into his second year, so I feel like he's only going to be experienced. And then our receiver room's great. I got my little cousin.
I was going to ask you about your cousin, yeah.
Yeah, he's looking, during spring ball,
Just
he was
a
looking
freshman.
really good. So I think we'll be just fine.
Well, good luck this upcoming year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out with us. Enjoy your time here.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Appreciate
it.
it. Isaiah Glasker, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Take another break. Come back as we continue on Big 12 Media Day coverage right here in Frisco, Texas, on the Zone.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on a scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
College football is nearly here, and we're blowing out the budget on our coverage of the teams you can't live without. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, Patrick Kinahan, Tim Lacombe. We are live in Frisco, Texas. It's Big 12 Football Media Days kicking off today. We'll go through tomorrow. We'll hear from BYU coaches and players today. University of Utah coaches and players coming up tomorrow. You know, PK, you and I were used to back in the day, you know, Mountain West or Pac-12, it was you brought one offensive player, you brought one defensive player.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if there's a limit, but BYU's got 6 players here.
Yeah.
Utah's bringing 4 players. It's just like, hey, whoever you want, come on by. Let's go.
Yeah. I think there's as many as 7 players from individual teams. I guess whatever you can fit on the plane and come down. And why not, man? Get your conferences as much exposure as possible, particularly from the Big 12 perspective, because we know there's casting a heavy shadow with the SEC and the Big 10. And the Big 12, you know, Yormark likes to tout its basketball, rightly so, but tout the football too, because there's some darn good football that is played in this conference. And kids, whatever you want to achieve, I believe you can achieve it out of the Big 12. And, you know, hopefully for them, they've got 1 or 2 teams that really make a splash nationally. But there's so many good teams in this conference that all believe that they've got a chance to do something this year, every year for that matter. And that's what makes it exciting. I mean, the Pac-12 was just a disgrace that it went away. And it still bothers me to this day. But I've embraced the Big 12, and it should be embraced by all of us.
I think Larry Scott's still paying some portion of his mortgage, you know, through some entity right now, because it was crazy. You guys told me the Pac-12 the first time you came, it was this big affair, and then it continued to dwindle. And I think that's as the revenue came back, is like, where's all this money going? And they realized
Oh,
Larry
yeah.
had a couple
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah.
So,
San Francisco, the most expensive real estate.
Yeah, a lot of reasons that thing came down. But, just from my first impressions, I think they've definitely take this serious. I mean, number one, it's in Texas. If you're gonna play in Texas, you better have a fiddle in the band.
Yep.
But if you're gonna have a conference tournament for football or a conference media event for football, you're gonna have it in Texas. You're serious, and so I like that a little bit. And then certainly Texas Tech last year, their defense was something I hadn't really seen. I mean, quarterbacks literally had no time when they'd snap the ball. Both BYU and Utah, very similar games played against Texas Tech. So, high level, that first tier of this conference, certainly high level. And as you guys said, there's always a outlier. There's always somebody, Houston doesn't get talked about a lot, but I see their name up the board. So, I think there's great football played in this league. And, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that this is a league that could put two teams into a playoff situation.
It's time.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's time for the conference to assert itself. The Devils almost should have gotten Texas in the Peach Bowl, but then Tech got embarrassed. What was it, by Oregon, and it was Miami, right? The Orange Bowl, if I remember. Didn't score a touchdown. It was like 23-0. That was not a good look. And so now they've got to overcome that, and the time is now with some of these experienced teams, including BYU and Utah. I think have very good quarterbacks. I think Texas Tech will be good again too. And then there's some other good quarterbacks. And then there's some other quarterbacks that are waiting their opportunity to show us what they have. And they know. I think this is a quarterback-friendly league, which helps in your reputation to get quarterbacks in your league that are really good and exciting because they're marketable, and then the NFL wants them, and then you just feed off that in terms of the quality of quarterbacks that you have. So that's a good start. And it seems like there's a lot of good quarterbacks in this conference. Avery Johnson's been starting forever over there in, Manhattan, Kansas for Kansas State. It's his time to shine, too, because you've been a starter for a number of years. And what are you going to do? They got a new coach, obviously, but what are you going to do there?
Who I love is Fite. Another guy that's been at it a while.
Fite is a 4-year starter, and there's only 4 inches separates him from being in the NFL right now. If he was 6'2", he'd be in the NFL today, but he's 5'10". But at the college level, you can get away with that. And as far as a pure passer, he's as good as anybody in the league. And I can argue darn near as good as anybody in the country. I love that kid. Plus, everybody and their dog wants to take off. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Sam Levitt, who takes off to give me an Italian salute, right? Takes the big money.
What do you do with the forks? Do they go down for a guy like that?
We'll
or
see.
we replace some of the vowels.
I think PK was saying pork you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he beats Texas Tech, and good for him. He takes the money and goes to LSU. I probably would have done the same.
Capiche. Capiche.
But, other guys have this opportunity to take his place. Fafita stayed. He could have gone, but he stayed. He stayed. Now, you're getting paid, but the money's kind of a wash in a sense that everybody's getting paid. That's the big thing with DeBonsa. Oh, well, BYU paid him. Well, okay, but so do these other schools are going to pay him too. And so he still chose BYU. Fafita stayed through the coaching change when he easily could have taken off. And he stayed loyal to the program, and I think that's really cool. And they responded last year with a big-time season. Now, what can they do? I can speak from experience. The Cats and the Devils, they've had big-time seasons, and you think, okay, they've turned the corner, and then they just kind of go back into being average or maybe a little below average, a little above average. Nothing really special there. And it's been a 40-year, 50-year history of this. Can Arizona sustain what they built on last year? Devils had some injuries. They were okay. Obviously, they didn't build on it, and that's for a number of reasons. But now what can they do, right? He's won 19 games in 2 years, which is pretty good, speaking of Devils. But what can they do? That's so much intrigue and so much at stake. How's it when we get to December and look back, what are we going to say? We can surmise a bunch of stuff, the three of us today, but no offense, but I think probably half of it's going to be wrong.
Yeah, there's no doubt. But, I always look at the overall health of a conference based on how many quarterbacks are coming to a media day. And we do have a lot of quarterbacks, but there's 3 big dogs, as far as I'm concerned, is certainly Noah Fifita, Devin Dampier, and Bear Bachmeier. You look around the other list of guys, and there's some question marks there. Because, how does the kid from North Texas, how does he transition into a bigger conference where he's going to have pass rushers that he's never seen before? You go down the list, there's a lot of guys here that I think have a chance to be really good, but we don't know yet. And Avery Johnson is another guy. It's like, okay, every year it's like, no.
No. What about
Yeah,
is DJ Lagway's at Baylor
Well,
now, right?
yeah, see, what we've got
is a bunch.
We've got a bunch of Bo Nixes who are going someplace else
Correct.
as a reclamation project.
Right. Yep. And some of those work, obviously, Bo Nix.
Bo Nix did.
Yeah.
You know who his coordinator was at Oregon?
Would be Mr. Dillingham.
Yeah. The guy knows how to develop quarterbacks.
When I saw Kenny walk through, I don't know if you guys saw him, but he was wearing like one of those, it's like a 60s like mob suit.
Yeah, it is a little bit of maroon and gold. The school colors.
Yeah, but I mean the striping in it.
The gold stripes.
I think he may have to sit on your side because he's closer to that.
He will be. PK will make sure he'll be.
Well, I'm actually going to sit on his lap.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's going to get dicey in here, y'all.
Whatever Arizona State coach comes by, who was the coach you got after? Like, I need to see it this year.
I think it was
Herm?
It was Todd Graham.
Todd Graham,
yeah,
that's
that's
right.
right.
I think Todd was taken back by that a little bit.
He got mad at me.
What'd you mean?
Yeah, well, I said, hey, man, you've had a couple good seasons. What are you going to do? Every coach has had a good season. You got to build upon it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to softball it. I didn't get this far 40 years into the business by softballing.
I just remember him with
now.
a funky mouthpiece or headset or something.
He
was
a
trying
little
something
thin,
new.
almost like some type of receptionist.
It was not good.
No.
Not a good look, Todd.
And he presented the image, but then couldn't back it up.
Yes.
I mean, he had 2 good seasons. They won 10 games 2 years in a row. That's something to be said for that. But it couldn't back it up. He couldn't back it up. Then he went to Hawaii, and that was a disaster.
Oh, boy. That was bad.
So that's the thing. You know what? Pretty much, I think Norm Chow said it to me once years ago. Anybody can have a good season. I think he was taking a shot at Utah, if I remember. Not that he was above that. Anybody can have a good season, but it's about having a good program. And that's what Whittingham built. It wasn't about a good season. Good for you. You have a good season. But, the ball can bounce your way. Injuries can be in your favor. And so you can put together a good season. But the mark of greatness, and even any ball player, the mark of greatness is consistency.
Consistency.
It's not simply, you score 35 today and then don't hear from you for 3 weeks. What you do every time, or as much and as close as possible what you can do every time. That's the definition of greatness. And that's what all these coaches here are trying to accomplish. I think that right now, as I run through it through my mind, the most accomplished coach in terms of sustaining it, I've got one guy in mind. Who would you say? In this conference. Who has sustained a high level of success the most?
Well, as of right now, Kalani.
Yeah, I think it's got to be.
Sadaki.
I think it's got to be.
He's the dean.
Right. He's the one who's had the most consistent success. Everybody else, even McGuire, last year was a big season. The year before was 8. 8's okay. Last year, big season.
Joey McGuire's the result of good spending.
I mean, largely, I can't deny.
Now I will.
I mean, that changed their course. No question.
I will say I am firmly or completely biased on this, because I think if you gave Matt Wells the amount of money that Joey McGuire, Matt could have coached a team to a high level. So, I'll admit though, but Matt's a friend, and so I'll admit I'm biased on that one. But I think that good team. Here comes the investment. Great team. And it's like, okay.
Then it goes back to what I said. Jerry Sloan's best coaching job was 42-40.
Yes.
Now, if I present Jerry Sloan with a ton of talent, a la Phil Jackson, do I think he can do what Phil Jackson did? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But he didn't have that kind of talent. So Joey McGuire is getting an enormous amount of talent, yes, but they also want a high level too. So you can't discount that. I never thought a coach's job isn't to win the title. The coach's job is to put his players in position to be the very best that they can. And if they're good enough, they couldn't. Like Kalani in the Cowboy Stadium last year, they were turning the ball over left and right. Well, I mean, it wasn't A-Rod's fault. It wasn't Kalani's fault. Texas Tech's defense had a lot to do with it. And Bear was a young kid and all that stuff. But I don't necessarily blame the coaches. McGuire has been afforded a great opportunity to win, and so far he's 1 for 1.
Yeah, and I think that's all you can judge it. I mean, anything else is speculation. And there are certainly a lot of guys out in the college football landscape right now that are spending a ton of money on rosters and losing.
Yeah.
And losing
or not
a
winning
lot.
enough. Now, for McGuire, if they go to the playoff and get smoked again, that cranks up the heat.
Ooh, in a big way.
Yeah.
Because, again, I tell you, there are thresholds to this. It's not like you can, go to the Sweet 16 and then have 3 10-win seasons. That Sweet 16 doesn't buy you any time anymore. It has to be an every year thing. Or a trip to the football playoff and a win in that. And then the next year you don't make, you don't go 500. It just doesn't fly.
Yeah, I think that, like for Kevin Young, if they go 1 and done in the NCAA tournament next March, there's a little bloom that comes off that rose.
Yep. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard alongside the coach, Tim Lacombe, Patrick Inahan. Big 12 Media Day, Hour 1 in the books. We'll continue on here from Frisco, Texas next, right here on The Zone.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast. An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
The football season is nearly here, and we're getting you ready for kickoff. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas, presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Back here in Frisco, Texas, it's Big 12 Media Day coverage, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Let's go to Baylor. Welcome in Kyler Jordan, defensive end, kind enough to hang out with us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Dude, okay, so I always like catching guys early because you're in a better mood. Like after the 20th, 25th interview, then you're going to get a little sour. But this is fun, and I got to imagine as a player, it's an honor to be a part of something like this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a dream come true. Getting to represent Baylor University, getting to represent my teammates. It's really, really cool.
Baylor's been one of the more interesting programs. Either it's like you're hot or cold. And obviously everybody wants to be hot. You look at their program just a couple years back, 3 or 4 years ago, they win the title. And now you're trying to get back to that level. Defensively, it was a little bit of a struggle, ranked 122nd in scoring defense. Now you hit the transfer portal, and you would know better than us, but doing my research saying that at least 6 new starters are going to be transfers. Tell us about the new players and obviously why you're thinking that the defense is going to be better this season.
Yeah, we got some really good pieces. Hosea Wheeler, coming from Indiana, is awesome. I mean, he's an unbelievable athlete. Ryan Davis, coming from Kansas State, has been awesome. Garrett Ponder, coming from Southern Miss. Travion Barnes is back.
Defensive line dudes.
Yes, sir. And Jamal Weiss, who's here, is another one. We got Colby McAllister from K-State. He's awesome. Daniel Cobbs from Kansas State. Awesome. And I think the coolest part about all the transfers that we got on defense, like, they want to come here, they want to play good defense, and they're not scared to do what it takes. The extra work, the extra football work, but also, like, just building the team. I feel like we have an actual unit after spring ball, and I think we're really excited to see what we can do.
In a day and age where, guys move around a ton, you went to high school in Lubbock. I assume maybe had some conversations this summer with people back home. Generally, I'll leave that alone. But at the same time, you've gone through a couple of different years. You've redshirted, but you've stayed here. Baylor important to you, and got to play a couple meaningful games. It started last 2 games of the season last year. Talk about your experience generally, just kind of how this has been a journey and how it kind of culminates with this is a big year for you.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been an incredible journey. Starting true freshman year, I got to play in 3 games, which was really cool. I was so excited my true freshman year because I got to play in the Armed Forces Bowl, and I got to play on special teams and stuff, and I thought it was the coolest thing. And then we show up in Fort Worth, and it's like negative 15 degrees. It was like
it's all an experience, right?
Oh my gosh, it was unbelievably cold, but it was so much fun, and just really over the combination of all the years, just it all coming to this point, for me getting to be here, for me getting to represent my team, is just such a blessing, and going into my last year, bringing Coach Klanderman in from Kansas State, our new DC, I'm going to get to do a lot more stuff that I got to do in high school. I'm going to get to play fast, and try to cause havoc, which is really what I love to do, what I was good at in high school. And so I'm really excited to get back to that, and I think we're going to be able to play fast on defense, which is really exciting.
That's been the message through spring and into the summer as well, is that instead of thinking, they want you reacting out there on the field, and the speed in which you guys can play and creating the havoc, as you mentioned, I think is something that seems to be a huge point of emphasis going into this year.
Absolutely. I think if you go back and watch our film on defense really over the last 4 years, we would have 9 guys doing the right thing and 2 guys doing the wrong thing. And those 2 guys doing the wrong thing turn into touchdowns, And so going into the fall, being able to play fast is going to be it's going to be great for us. And I'm excited for a lot of the guys, Travion Barnes, Kylan Reed, and those guys are unbelievable football players. And I think we're really going to get to see that this year.
We've seen some pretty good offense coming out of Baylor the last few years, right? Some pretty good stats for players, and had a good quarterback last year in the pocket. I thought he was a great quarterback from the pocket, talking about Sawyer, obviously. Now, this year you got Lagway, and the thing that I like, this guy's a highly touted kid coming out of high school and all that, and quarterbacks tend to be over-publicized. I'm sure you know that. And so he has a good season in Florida, and expecting a big thing, and then it doesn't happen as much as the second year. And so now it's sort of like a reclamation project, so to speak. And you've been around this kid. He needs to have a big season for you guys to do what you want to do. And I love the kid who has a chip on his shoulder. And would you say that that's what he has? And how has it been to be around him, knowing that, 5-star, you got to live up to that, all that stuff that goes into that?
Man, he absolutely has everything that it's going to take, and he absolutely has a chip on his shoulder. That guy's process might be the most intricate process of any college football player I've been around. I'm talking from 5:30 in the morning to whenever it's the process. And he's obviously unbelievably talented, and we're so blessed to have him. And he's such a good dude off the field. He brings guys with him. He has a lot of influence on the team, which is really cool to see. But I'm so glad that he's on our team, and we're really in a good spot having DJ back there.
Go ahead.
I'm just always fascinated by the fact that it seems rare that a kid plays his entire career at one school. And it's no disrespect to anybody who moves around. I'd probably do the same if I were in those shoes. But what does it mean to you to be able to say, I spent my entire career at Baylor University?
Man, everything. And I don't want to say that all the people who transfer are running from something. But I felt like if I was going to transfer, I would have been running. And that's not what I stand for. That's not what I want my kids, to see one day. Oh, why'd you transfer? Were you scared? No, I didn't want to run away. And honestly, I love Coach Aranda. I would go fight for Coach Aranda any day of the week. What he has given me, what he has, instilled in me, all the wisdom and everything I've learned from him. I couldn't leave him. And so, yeah, really, really excited for the season.
We're from Utah, obviously. This guy's the voice of Utah State Aggies, and there's an Aggie, his dad was an Aggie, Kai Wesley.
Yeah.
Tell me about Kai. He's a freshman for you guys this year.
Kai's awesome. I love his. He's kind of like nonchalant a little bit, but like super athletic and obviously super gifted. I mean, he's every bit of 6'6", has good hands, all the things. But it's funny because I was talking to Kai just kind of how he got started in football, because he was not always a football player. He was like, they basically kind of just made him go out there just to try it.
Yeah. That's a basketball family, man.
Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, I mean, I'm still learning, like this is kind of all crazy to me. But no, Kai's doing a great job. We're really we're glad to have him.
Only guy from Utah on the roster, so I had to shout him out.
Yeah. No, Kai's awesome.
You talked about Klanderman coming over from K-State as the new coordinator, and you said about playing fast. Go into that a little bit in terms of what is his influence going to be on Baylor Bears defense this season.
Yeah, I mean, like I was talking about earlier with the havoc, I mean, the emphasis is going to be havoc. Create havoc, get vertical, like take a shot, like stuff like that. Like, we're not going to be playing passively, like, oh, you got to be here. Like, we're going to be playing fast. And so that's what I would say is going to be the emphasis.
What does a successful season at Baylor look like this year?
I mean, I think win as many games as we possibly can. I think it's playing good defense. I think it's scoring a lot of points, and I think a lot of it is good. We're going to score points with DJ, and the O-line's great, running backs are great, receivers are great. Like, we're going to score points. So, like, I think for us, like, we got to play good defense. And since I've been here, we've yet to show that we can do that. And so, like, that's going to be. I think that's our ticket to success.
So that's a matter of pride for you.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
And like, I don't know, like in high school, like, I mean, my team, like, I think my junior year, I think we let up like 20 points in all of our district games, and it's
total.
Like, total.
Nice.
And I was like, this is defense. This is good defense. And so, and I don't know, that number might not be right, but I mean, we were shutting people out left and right, and I mean, it was awesome. So,
in your mind, it's right, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
You know what? Here's the thing. You can just say whatever you want, and we will be like, all right.
Hey, throughout life, you move into a new city, and I played back in the day.
I can check your college stuff, but high school gets a little dicey.
It's a little dicey.
Where did you play high school? What was the high school you went to?
Lubbock Cooper.
Okay.
Lubbock Cooper. Yeah, we were 5A D2 whenever I was playing. And then they actually split into two different high schools, like, a couple years after I left, which is kind of sad.
You ever hung with Chip and JoJo?
Chip and JoJo.
Chip and Joanna Gaines?
Oh, no, unfortunately
in Waco?
Unfortunately not. No, I have watched my
Sorry, we're on a first-name basis.
No, y'all are good. My soon-to-be wife, I'm getting married here in 2 weeks or so. But she's interior design, so like obviously she loves that stuff, watching Magnolia Network and HGTV.
Just get used to saying
Hallmark.
No, I can't.
Looks good, babe.
That's where we draw the line.
My mom watches Hallmark. I'm like, I'm good. I'm not
you come home and say, "It looks great, babe," and then do your thing.
Yeah. Give a thumbs up.
Hey, appreciate you coming by.
Yeah.
Good luck this season. Great chat with you.
Thank y'all so much.
There he is, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone. Fun conversation. Kyler Jordan, that defensive end for Baylor University, as soon as you explained who Chip and JoJo, then it
I was like, sorry, man, I thought you lived in Wake. That'd be like, hey, do you ever see Donnie and Marie? Who's that?
Okay, I can see that. I paused for a second. Who? But then, yeah, okay.
You didn't get Chip and JoJo either?
Not immediately.
Okay, sorry. I said Joanna. It was disrespectful.
Right. The JoJo. Once you said Joanna,
I know exactly who Chip and JoJo.
Yeah,
thank you.
I've had. Remember, I told you some friends earlier. Yeah, they went there.
Oh, cool.
And my thought is, why? But that's just me.
Well, it's funny because there's a lot of, like, I've got a lot of neighbors who are diehard BYU and diehard Utah fans, and they're always like, we need to go to a game, we need to go to a game. And then their wives are like, I don't really want to. And then Waco shows up, or Baylor shows up on the schedule. Like, that's the game we need to go to. I want to go to that game. Why? No reason.
They made Waco fashionable. And that's saying something.
Yeah. I mean, they had some work to do after Dave Bliss, but, you know.
You ever heard of Koresh?
Yeah.
I mean, gee
Yeah,
whiz.
there was
There's some bad stuff
there
going
was some
on.
bad PR there.
They
but,
came in and basically interior decorated the whole town.
Baylor's an interesting team. Dave Aranda's been kind of floating on that hot spot for a while.
I know.
I
I think this is it.
Yeah.
He's got to do it.
Yeah.
Had to change out his OC a couple of years ago. New year with the DC. So, you know, it's kind of make or break.
Everybody, from all accounts, loves the guy.
Yeah.
But you got to win. You can be the biggest jerk, and if you win, they'll love you. And you can be the nicest guy in the world, and if you don't win, they'll hate you.
Yes.
This is the way it is, man.
Just win.
I mean, Dave knows that as well as anyone. We're not saying anything that he wouldn't sign off on. And that's the thing. When it looks like, he is in big trouble, they'll go out and win. And then they slip back.
Yep. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes 9-3 this year, just because that's how it goes.
That's the way it's been.
Yeah.
They got Auburn right off the bat in Atlanta. That potentially is winnable. Auburn hasn't been what they are, or what they have been, and then you got Prairie View A&M and La Tech. So, and then you got Colorado in your first conference game. So there's a shot to be 4-0. You're 4-0. That's taking the pressure off right off the bat in the first month, and then second week they go to Tempe. We'll see what the Devils could be. I have a feeling the Devils are going to be okay. And then it's on after that.
Yeah.
So let's see what you can do. I think if you go 3-0 to get to your thing, then you're looking at 6-3. Probably, I would think that's good enough. I would think maybe 8-4 is good enough.
Yeah.
So go 5-4 in conference.
They need to stack up wins because their last 3 games of the year at BYU, Texas Tech at home, and then at Houston.
Yeah. Right. That's the whole point of bringing up the schedule is I believe they got to get 3-0, get that probably 4-0.
4-0, yeah.
With Colorado, and then see how you stack up over the next 8 games in conference.
Hey, can I break some? This is just hit the wire. But Cleveland Cavaliers star Donovan Mitchell has agreed to a 4-year, $273 million contract.
Whew. Yeah, that doesn't suck for him.
I think he could pay for breakfast.
Well, that's the system that they have, that you got to pay your best players. You just hope they're good enough to get you over the top.
But that's the hard part about that one. I feel like that's money that's ain't going to do that.
Over the top, he's not going to do it individually, even though I respect the crap out of him as a player.
No, I do too. I mean, he gives.
But there's just a certain limitation.
Size.
That he's going to run up against, and he's been marvelous for being. And they list him at 6'3". I've stood next to him a million times. I don't see 6'3". I see more 6'1".
Yeah.
Well, now you see $273 million.
Hey, good for him, man.
Well, and then, with LeBron as a teammate, we'll see how that goes.
And maybe that can make a difference for a year.
I actually believe, of all the places LeBron could go, that would be the most.
You know where LeBron can go?
I think that would help that team the most. Yeah, I would like to too, yes.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
It's south.
By the way,
winter.
We expect to hear from Matthew Klopfenstein from Baylor coming up here in a minute. Tight end, Mr. Do Everything, former Colorado guy.
Yeah, Baylor's out on the field. We're in the end zone. I think I said we're in the east end zone. And then they have the field, and then at the south end zone, or the other west end zone, is where they have the stage, which I think that gets underway around 10 o'clock our time, 11 o'clock down here in Central Time Zone. But see, Baylor's got their guys doing interviews. And defensively, they got to be better. They sucked last year. There's no other way to say it. They ranked 122nd. And then Lagway's got to prove that ranking, and I don't know, man, because so many quarterbacks have these enormous rankings and then it doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
It's actually the other way is more the unusual story, that they have the big ranking and they live up to it.
Well, from my experience, the rankings is a huge part of the reason for some of them why their progress stops. I mean, many many kids have different places that they're, I guess, they feel like they've accomplished something, and sometimes it's just getting a 5-star ranking and being like, okay, I'm there.
Yeah.
Now I'm just waiting for my, and the thing is, you still have to work.
Right.
I watched dudes as we recruited them, and one of the worst things that could happen to you, a young player, sometimes was to be singled out and recognized as something before they were something.
A 4-star big man out of Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are many examples. Yeah, but I mean, that was one
You gotta
that
get in that rowboat and go, man.
that was one that was, you got to row your way out of the boat.
And then the crash, particularly for the quarterbacks, is so hard.
Oh, it's so hard. But it affects your confidence too. You see it, like guys that were proficient 5-star guys have a hard time taking a snap.
And then I think it dwindles into something that is extremely serious, mental health.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt.
I've seen it.
Well, this was a long time ago, even before just at the early stages of Twitter. And we were at a Mountain West conference media day.
Twitter gives me PTSD.
Why would you do that? Sorry. We got all kinds of inside jokes today. But there was a coach at Fresno State who had a quarterback that was coming back, and he was expected to be pretty good. Kid just quit. And the coach said, yeah, he just couldn't handle the negative feedback on Twitter. And to me, it seems like simple. We'll just delete it. But this generation doesn't know how to,
some guys go to Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just okay. Well, then just don't read it. Turn off your mentions.
Yeah,
easily done. And but you can't apparently, and it doesn't make any sense to me. But that's why I'm in my 40s and
FOMO.
these kids are in their 20s.
It's that
or
FOMO
teens.
thing.
Yeah.
If
somebody's saying something about you, you want to know what it is, whether it's good or bad.
And for me, I hope it's bad. Because
you made a good living off of that.
Requires me to get up the
I've
next
heard
day.
very few good things about you, Mr. Kinahan.
And they're all true.
And they're all coming from Mr. David James. So we anticipate hearing more from Baylor coming up here in a little bit. Houston with Willie Fritz. Hopefully we'll be able to chat with him coming up a little bit later on. Kalani Sitake decked out in the suit, looking dapper as
very
always.
Dapper.
Dave Aranda, Kenny Dillingham, as Coach mentioned, looking like a mob boss from the,
I guess it would be the 20s, the roaring 20s.
and then we got Eric Morris, new head coach at Oklahoma State, expected to join us, and then Joey McGuire. I'm sure he's been looking forward to this day all summer long. Really looking forward to that.
I can really go just visit with my friends.
Yeah,
he'll sell it, and he'll sell it in a positive way. And I think Tech is going to be fine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm happy for the conference that it got settled, because if it hadn't been settled at this point, that would have been a huge dark cloud over this entire facility. But it didn't turn out the way maybe they thought it would, or they thought it wasn't going to happen, then it happened, and now it's not happening again. It's probably better off this way. Now, hopefully for the young man, he gets his life in order and has the opportunity to play in the NFL in next April if he gets drafted and all that. Wish him nothing but success. We got Baylor, your tight end, coming over next.
Yep, looking forward to chatting with him as we continue on live here at Big 12 Media Day, all brought to you by Omada Real Estate on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Joining us now, tight end for the Baylor Bears. It is Matthew Klopfenstein. Did I say that right?
You did, yeah. Good job.
We'll take it. How's life in Baylor treating you right now?
That's great. Life in Waco's awesome. I got married last summer.
Nice. Congratulations.
So, my wife's in there with me. So
that's awesome,
it's
man.
Just us two hanging out, from Scottsdale, so we got no family.
Scottsdale, Arizona?
There you go.
Oh, man, I grew up in Phoenix.
Really?
Arizona State grad myself.
There you go. I got a bunch of family and aunts and uncles and what they do.
Oh, and you go to Tempe this year.
I know.
You going to break their hearts?
Just say yes. Yeah, we're planning on it.
Well, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Hey, man, they just went through media training. You get, just cut them some slack over there.
What? Obviously, 5-7 last year. You want to improve on that going this year. What are your expectations this year at Baylor?
I mean, our expectations are just to prove ourselves. We know what we're capable of, and with the team and the weapons that we have, we know that if we can go out and play Baylor football and play like we have the weapons that we do, it's important for us to go out and to prove ourselves in that way.
We were just talking about DJ Lagway and his career and looking for an opportunity to make statement this year. How are things going with him? How have the OTAs and things like that been?
It's been great. DJ's somebody you want in your corner from a leadership standpoint, from just a class act, talent. Kind of, just he checks all the boxes is kind of what I've been, what I tell people when they ask about DJ Lagway. He checks all the boxes. But since he's came and gotten onto campus, he's just made an impact, as far as leadership goes and just connecting this team. He's a guy that you can really rally behind, and you've just seen the team really, oh, well, we got a stud, we can rally around this guy. And so just taking ownership, he's taken that ownership role, and to see him do that, it's been awesome.
So tight end, you have a dual role there, obviously, and part of it is being able to block and move guys on the line of scrimmage. You got a couple decent running backs who have had some good experience there in the last couple years, so you should be okay there. Speak to the offensive line, yourself as part-time blocker in a sense, being a tight end, but the other guys, as I looked at it, there's a possibility of maybe 3 or 4 transfers coming in to start.
Yeah, absolutely. You got Logan Moore, you got Asher, you got Yak in there. You got guys that came in January and then, hit the ground running. We had a great spring. We're really confident with where we kind of finished off with spring as far as the O-line and blocking goes. And one thing we talked about all the time is just having controlled aggression, right? You want to be able to be aggressive up front, but be able to control it so it's not out of control. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, real confident with our O-line. Excited.
So, do you consider yourself a blocker first and a receiver second, or because you look, you're Mr. Red Zone too. Like,
yeah,
I went back and watched a lot of that spring stuff. I mean, you had a couple Red Zone scores. So, are there? I mean, obviously, you love to do the dirty work, but you can get out there and catch the ball too.
I mean, yeah, absolutely, no doubt. I'm confident in my game and the things that I can do. Last year when we had Trig, I was more in line, and so I was playing a little heavier. I was about 253. Yeah. Right now I'm about 246. So, I'm just kind of setting myself up to be able to do both those things and just to be the lethal guy that I know I can be and the lethal player. And so, yeah, I'm expecting to make plays on both sides, doing both things.
What are some of the team goals this year? What are things y'all want to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, we want to win. That's the first thing we want to accomplish is, if we can go out, we can play our game and we can stick true to our values and we can go out, we can win the Big 12 championship.
Do you ever get tired of kids from being in Texas whining about the heat? As a kid from the Valley of the Sun, do you just scoff at them and say, come on, man, this is nothing?
Hey, but to be fair, the humidity.
Yeah, PK.
Humidity's bad, and I never really was used to it, but I mean. But yeah, there are times where I'm like, get a break, man. You've never been outside in 116 having to do suicides or whatever.
Yeah, talk. Get out of my face.
Terrible. Hey, but those are the days that make you a man,
Yeah. What was it about Baylor where you're like, okay, that's where I want to wrap up my career?
Yeah. At the time, so I at the time was blessed to have a bunch of opportunities to go a bunch of places, and I knew that if I was going to leave the state, that I wanted to be close to family. And so I had family up in Dallas, my dad's sister, my dad's brother in San Antonio. So it was kind of in between, and it was kind of, I love Texas, and I've been to Texas like once or twice since before taking a visit to Baylor, and Baylor just checked all the boxes what Coach Aranda had and what he was building, and just the team that he had and the people and the university. It's a great university. And so checked all the boxes, absolutely loved it, and I'm glad I made the decision to come.
How fun is it to be able to do, we see it all the time in Utah because our guys are a little bit older and they get married, before the end of their school year, but it's or before their career. How's that been? You say you got married, being able to do this with your best friend.
It's been awesome. It's been such a blessing, for her to be right alongside me and to experience the things that I experience a little bit, because, it's been surreal. I'm the only one married on the team. Oh, I am.
You really are?
I really am. So, I mean, I got Kyler Jordan. I don't know if you had a chance to talk to Kyler Jordan.
He said
he's
a couple weeks. He's a great kid.
Yeah, like 3 weeks. Yeah, so we're both going to that wedding, so it'll be fun.
When you make a decision like this, and it's not just about you mentioned the family, but you also have her involved in that as well. What kind of different element does that add to it?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, you're taking her away from her family and, and doing all the things. But, you feel better after some heart-to-heart conversations, with her dad and her family. And, it just kind of comes with it. It's part of, getting married, I guess.
I would think you're bigger than your father-in-law, too.
Yeah. I mean, he's still pretty big. He's like probably 6'2", like 6'3". So.
Is she a fellow Husky?
She is not. She went to San Jose O'Connor. Up north, yeah.
On the other side.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, that was far. It almost seemed like yeah. Hey, when you this offense with Lagway really seemed like when he signed, it seemed like there was a kind of a jolt to the fan base. Like, okay, it's go time. Do you feel that in the community there at Waco?
Absolutely, 100%. There's an excitement, there's a buzz in the facility and just in the streets. And it's an exciting time to be a Baylor fan, and we're excited to go out and prove that what we can do and continue to carry that excitement onto the field. Really.
I saw Dave Aranda early in his career when he was a defensive coordinator at Utah State, middle of nowhere, and he's the same dude, like just very stoic, doesn't get overly emotional, not too high, not too low. But that's what we see on the outside looking in. What's it like inside the locker room with a guy like that?
Same person, really. He's composed. He's a great coach, and he's the reason why I'm here today, and the reason why I'm married, and I've been able to grow up and mature so quick, just because the values he's had. With the team and the program that I've been involved in, and so I give all my credit to my maturity and growing up, and really to him.
How's the interesting dynamic of guys coming and going every year that's kind of now prevalent around college football? How big an impact does that have on a locker room?
Yeah.
I mean, it can obviously go one way or another based on the guys you bring in.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's hard every time you get new guys. It's always hard, and this isn't just a Baylor thing. This is every team's going through it. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's challenging. You get guys coming in, and it's what it essentially is just it turns into a brand new team every single year, and it becomes a game of, okay, in this offseason, how close can we become? Can we create an identity? Can we create a culture and a chemistry that's going to take us and carry us far through the season? And so you just kind of got to figure it out, and you got to, every offseason, this just becomes like, okay, how can we grow this team? Essentially,
I mean, because I coached college basketball for 15 years, and we literally had a board we would hide from the general public, but we'd slide it open, and it would be a 4-year plan of our guys, and that's how we'd operate, and that is so obsolete today. But team building, you said you guys want to win, and that's such a huge part of it is you got to have that cohesion. So I was just curious how that's got to impact every single season that way.
Yeah, no, it definitely does, and it creates fun memories because you get a lot of players come in and out, and and you get an opportunity to play with a bunch of people, but yeah.
Well, we appreciate it. Have a good season. We look forward to catching up with you down the line.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff. There he is, the tight end for the Baylor Bears, Matthew Klopfenstein, kind enough to join us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. So you know what? That's a team to keep an eye on. I'm really curious to see exactly what comes out of Baylor. And again, as PK you mentioned, some years. When it feels like Dave Aranda's really on the hot seat, they get really good, then there's a level of comfort, and then they come back down to earth a little bit. So based on that, then they should probably be pretty good this year.
Yeah, I think maybe the worst thing that happened to Baylor is winning the title in 21. Because, okay, there it is. Now you got to get back,
You
right?
can do it, yep.
Yeah, because you did it, and that was when Texas and Oklahoma were in the conference, and you were the top dog and all that stuff. So you set the standard. Everybody's excited. Blah, blah, blah. Your basketball team usually is pretty good. Things are turned around at Baylor, but there hasn't been a follow-up. And then you're constantly trying to recreate the 21 season, right? That's the reality of it. And if you fall short of that, well, what the freak happened? Now, if you get 9-10 wins and fall short, all right, you still had a really good season. So, but they haven't consistently been there.
And these guys know this. You talk about how they are on social media a lot, and so they hear everything, right? And fans can be savages, these anonymous idiots.
No.
You know, I don't. For myself, if I get criticism and someone puts their name to it and say like to email me or they tweet at me,
totally fine.
I'll respond.
Yes.
If you've got your name on it and you come at me and say, hey, I didn't like this or this, and it's not, oh, you're an idiot, you're blithering, whatever. It's in a respectful manner. Criticism is fine. I welcome it, you know, and I will respond accordingly. And I've got no problem with that. But that's not the way it is. And, you know, you start saying, you know, you should die and some of this nonsense that's out there, right? So these kids are all aware of this, and they understand, particularly in Baylor's situation, when this coach's job may be on the line. And what are you going to do? Everybody likes playing for the guy. This tight end goes all the way over from Scottsdale, Arizona to Waco, Texas. That's a pretty big jaunt. That's a major adjustment. He could have gone right down the street, and he chose no. So that means he chose Dave Aranda to a large degree. So the guy is beloved, but it's also got to be about production. And what are you going to do? What are you going to have there as far as that goes? And the point I'm making, is maybe a little long-winded, is that these guys know what's at stake.
All right, we'll take another break. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Big 12 Media Day coverage brought to you by Omada Real Estate. Big thanks to them. Big thanks to our good friends, Nate Dowdle, for sending a small army of us here to Frisco, Texas, whether it's KSLSports.com, whether it's KSL TV, or right here on the Zone. Nobody's got you covered for the start of the 2026 season than KSL Sports. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast! An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
All the insight and analysis of the Cougars, Utes, and the rest of the conference. Live from Frisco, Texas, this is Big 12 Media Day coverage on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, Tim Lacombe, Patrick Kinahan. As we are out and about, it is Frisco, Texas, your home for Big 12 Media Day. As today is BYU's day. Tomorrow will be at University of Utah. But here on the slate, we've already talked to a couple players from Baylor. Already had a chance to chat with Isaiah Glasker. But a little bit later on, we will catch up with Kalani Sitake as well as Bear Bachmeier. Arizona State here today, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Houston, Colorado, Central Florida, as Scott Frost back in the lineup with Central Florida. It'll be interesting to see if he can revisit the old national championship days.
Scott Frost, yeah, we'll see what he does this year. You know, we were talking to Pete Sousa, covers the Big 12 yesterday, and he was saying, hey, this thing may be the surprise team. We know what he did his second year the first time around was big time. And so what is he going to do this season? They're a team to watch because obviously they're in a hotbed of talent, and they have an opportunity to, I think, surprise some people or at the minimum be a tough out, meaning even if you lose to them, it's going to take everything that you have to be able to beat them.
Yeah, for us, they put a pretty magical run together the last time. Little stop at Nebraska, and now looks like we got another victim.
Yeah, let's go.
A small guy from Provo, Utah.
Yeah, you need to move over a little way so he knock you over.
Bruce Mitchell joining us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you? Are we on the zone here?
We are.
Yeah, man.
This is my mom's station, man. She's
Sweet.
always listening to you guys.
Mrs. Mitchell, thanks for listening. We appreciate that. Hey, you've had some really great moments on this offensive line. This group has really come together. What do you attribute that to?
Coach Woods. He is a savant in the run game as a technician for the offensive line, so I credit a lot to him. And then we just got a good group of selfless guys, that just want it for the betterment of the team. So that always helps out a lot on the offensive line. A lot of guys who just want to get better at their craft, want to become better offensive linemen. So I think you put all that together, you're gonna become a better.
So when Kalani hires TJ, and I got to know TJ a little bit when he was with Gary Anderson at Utah State, and the one thing about TJ is if he walks into a room and you say he's a coach, what does he coach? You immediately go, he's an O-line coach. Like, that guy screams offensive line coach. And I'm sure that there are some things that he probably says that may not necessarily be high on the BYU level, but he makes his groups tougher wherever he goes.
No doubt about it, yeah. I can't say enough good about him, how he's changed my career as a football player. And as an individual, man, I love him, and he's made me a better person, better offensive lineman. And he's good. He's good for the room. He understands offensive line and what it takes to be great. And you said it perfectly. He walks in the room and you're like, "Yep, that's your O-line coach."
You've been an offensive lineman as far as a starter at BYU for a little while now. Do you feel that has allowed you to, particularly this season, take on a leadership role among the guys?
Yeah, a little bit. But when you got as many returners as we do, leadership's your strength in a way, right? You can bring along the young guys who are developing, but as well you just understand the offense. You understand what it takes to dominate the line of scrimmage, the off-season work, as well as what you need to do in season. So I think when you combine all of that, we have multiple leaders on the offensive line who are just making this unit better.
How easy is it to be selfless? You mentioned that word earlier with a guy like Kalani Sitake at the helm.
It's really easy because he sets the example. I've never heard him take credit for anything. So hopefully we can do the same as his players. And it is the greatest team sport ever. It takes 11 guys to do it, and so you can never take credit personally.
What's it like blocking for a guy like L.J. Martin? Because he can make anything look good. All you have to do is give him just a little bit of a window, correct?
Yeah, I've said it plenty of times, man. There's times I've got defensive linemen in his face in the backfield, and he makes a jump cut and gets 5 yards when it should have been a TFL. And if you've seen how hard L.J. works, man, you'd want to block your tail off for him too. Like that is a guy who wants it. That's a guy who wants to be great. And you can see it in his off-season work and his in-season work. So as an offensive lineman, that motivates you. Like this guy needs you a little bit. So let's go and help him achieve his goals.
Yeah, he's really good. There's no question about that. I'm interested to see how the offensive line, to learn about how they're going to react in terms of what you did last year with Bear Bachmeier versus this year, because obviously he's got a full year of experience. Right. So we, from the outside, are expecting more from him and the offense this year, given the fact that he's no longer a first-year freshman. He's a veteran now.
Correct.
And with that in mind, how does that change or alter what you guys do up front with him being that much more experienced?
Yeah, I don't think it changes anything for us up front, but it might change things for him. There were times last year where I would flip protections for the offensive line, but maybe it's going to be a little more on Bear. The biggest thing that stood out to me in spring ball is he's seeing things pre-snap, right? He's seeing defenses, he's seeing coverages, he's seeing blitzes. So maybe it's going to be a little more on his plate to make it easier for us just to focus on who we're blocking and where we're blocking. But no, he's gotten better, and he's another guy who's working his tail off, and you can see he wants to do great things as well.
So when you were with Jake a couple of years ago, would he do the protection, and then you took it over with the freshman, or how does that, in a perfect world, how does that work?
Yeah, you as a center, you call the protection. Sometimes we never really got into flipping protections. I don't think Coach Woods was 100% comfortable with it yet. Connor would occasionally, but if you're going to flip a protection, you got to be very, very confident that the blitz is coming, or you're going to give the quarterback a fastball, right? So it maybe happened later in the year. But yeah, I don't. Man, that first year, it was just kind of a blur being out there.
Yeah.
The game was moving really fast compared to how it's moving now. It's slowed down a little bit for me, and I'm seeing things a little bit better. But yeah, I was lucky to get the ID out for the rest of the line. I was playing next to Waylon Lapuaho, and there was a couple times I looked at him and I was like, I don't know what to call here. So we're just gonna go play football. We made it work. We got the wins when we needed to get them to.
This time last year, Bear Bachmeyer was just the thought,
right?
I think you all knew, having worked out in the summer, that this kid was pretty good. Mm-hmm. But we were talking earlier. I mean, pretty special story for a guy to come out of basic anonymity to being the quarterback and then having the run he did. What makes him special?
I've said this a couple times today, man. He's tough as nails. You seen him take some hits last year. We're like, how's this guy? Is he going to get up? And he pops up every time. Sometimes maybe a little slower than others, but, man, he's tough as nails. He's a really smart kid, too. So it comes to him quickly. He was able to learn the offense quickly. And then he's a poised kid. There's a couple times where it was like maybe I was a little rattled out there, and, he was the poised one. I was the returning starter. But I think you put those together, it's like, okay, he's going to be our starting quarterback. And when you've got a great run game with LJ, it's going to make the quarterback's job easy because people are going to have to bring their safeties down, load the box. And I think we were able to do that early on and kind of smooth him into it. I think you could see his fans and his viewers, there was kind of like let's ease Bear into it period, but not this year. We're gonna let it rip from week one.
Before we let you go, you want to shout out Mom? Say hi to Mom.
Yeah, hi Mom. I don't know if she's listening. She might be at work right now.
She'll podcast it. She'll hear it.
Yeah, shout out Lisa Mitchell on this.
Lisa
one.
Mitchell.
she's always she's always on here, man. You see one viewer on there, one listener. It's probably her.
Well, that would be the one. So congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Thank you, man.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
There he is, Bruce Mitchell, offensive line center for BYU, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Always fun chatting with the big guys up front, man. Those dudes
Evan
find a way to make
now.
it happen. As Evan
now.
Johnson expected. Yep, Evan Johnson will join us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. One of the lockdown pieces of that veteran secondary at Brigham Young University, rocking the number 0. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing well. BYU for so many years was known as, look, you could get linebackers, you could get defensive linemen, but you always, the corner play or the safety play was always a little suspect. Now it's the strength of your team. What's that transition been like to be a part of a new era of BYU football?
Yeah, it's just been something really cool to see, I think Coach G did a great job with it, and Coach Walker's doing an even better job now. Now we're known for developing. We develop DBs, right, yeah. We build DBs, and that's just something that's super cool. And I feel like it's just also a testimony of the players. We all care. We all want to be great, and you see that in the secondary now, and it's shown up in our success.
And you have had, obviously, a great success as an individual player, and it's an inspiring story from where you came from to where you are. And not to go into extreme 10-minute depth, but just give us a synopsis so people understand that where you came from and what you had to do to work to get where you are.
Yeah, so I came in as someone who's never played defense. I played 2 snaps of defense in high school, and so it was really new. And then I get here first year, we're super deep in our room, so I didn't really get the opportunity I wanted. Second year, again, Coach Hill comes in, he brings his guys, so I'm kind of behind those guys. And then when I got to number 21 is when I kind of finally got my chance, and that was just when I really started to believe in myself, 36, when I was in the 36 number, I was still questioning, my abilities and my confidence. Am I really supposed to be here? But as I got to number 21 and Coach G and Coach Rob Daniel started to, have an impact in my life, that's when I started to really find my footing, and I started to get comfortable. And then the summer after that, I was training every day with Rob Daniel, and that's when I just saw the biggest jump. the way he can teach you technique, and just the way I was able to learn is what allowed me to be so confident in myself now, not only on the field but just in life. And so I feel like that's been my journey now, and now I really just believe in myself and that I'm able to make plays.
Were you ever tempted to do like a lot of other dudes do and pick up and go and find a place to play, or is that not your deal?
That's not my deal. I always knew this is where I want to be. My family bleeds blue now. My brother's on the staff. My parents are trying to go to every BYU event there is. So my family loves BYU. I love BYU, and I knew this was the place I wanted to play at and the coach I wanted to play under, and yeah.
What was that conversation like when Gennaro reached out to you and said, hey, I got some opportunities here? Was that tough for you?
Nah, he didn't really reach out to me, honestly. It was, I knew this is where I wanted to be. And even when those guys left, it definitely sucked for a little bit, but I still knew this is where I wanted to be, and this is where I wanted to end my career.
What's it like to get a game-winning interception and the game's on the line and you preserve it and you literally make thousands of tens of thousands, if not more, people happy?
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It doesn't even feel real. Those are things, you watch High School Musical and you see them hit the last buzzer beater and you're like, oh, dang. Those are things you really dream of, and I really did dream of those moments, Being able to go out there and make plays, and it just feels so surreal. Like, it doesn't even feel real to this day. And when I think back on that moment, I don't remember it because it just seems like such a blur. It's so crazy, but it's just something I dream for, and it's super cool to see it happen. And I just think it's a testimony of my hard work and how much dedication I've been putting into my craft. So, yeah.
People think, the weight room and outside, but people don't understand the film work that goes behind the scenes, because a lot of that is stuff that you see in film. You're like, okay, I know what they're doing. I know where they're, and you can anticipate and get those picks, or you can get those game-saving plays. Where did you pick up that work ethic?
That came from G, 100%. G was one of those guys that was always in the film room with us. He was always making sure that, we knew it was coming. And he'd do it on the sideline, too, G's on the sideline, hey, it's coming. So, but he was definitely the person that put me onto the film work. And then also my brother. My brother is a film junkie. He loves to watch film, and he's so good at breaking down game film, practice film, and understanding the playbook. And so I think that's where I got it from.
You guys have done a great job kind of taking a step every year. There's another step to be taken, right? Do you guys talk about kind of your goal this year, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish?
Obviously, we want to win a Big 12 championship. So I feel like, we've kind of got our toes wet. So it's like now, all right, what do we got to do to get to the next level? And I feel like what we have to do is just those small and simple things, whether that's clean music in the locker room, other things like that. The little, small, simple things are going to be what's going to make our team really great and really in Big 12 champions. You see that with the little things like Nick Saban. Our Coach Pop always shows this Nick Saban clip where, he has them tuck in their shirts. And it's like, why tuck in his shirt? Because those little things, those small, simple details are what separate you from, a Big 12 championship and going home off that field.
Well, we appreciate you coming by. Good luck this upcoming season. Great conversation. Keep it rolling, and we look forward to chatting with you again here soon.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
There he is. Evan Johnson right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, as we look forward to catching up with the man himself.
Oh, there he is.
Yes. Take a seat.
Been talking to him
fella.
for years, in different colors, no less.
The Minister of Defense.
Keanu Tanuvasa, kind enough to join us. How are you, man?
Great, sir. How about yourself?
You know what? I'm doing a lot better now. We get to chat with you. How is your summer going all right?
It's been great. Yeah, I've got a lot of time to spend with the wife, a lot of time to spend with the boys, getting ready for a baby coming in November. So taking advantage of what I got now and then excited for what's to come.
You came in with a big reputation, right? You did great things at Utah and expecting to do those things at BYU. Now you're going into your second year. Do you feel like personally that you want to ramp up expectations for yourself even more?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think at Utah, I was blessed to have 3 years there, and I think going into the last year, I made Utah my own. I knew what the scheme was. I knew who my coaches and my teammates were, and I made it my own. Coming into BYU last year, I had a lot of expectations that were difficult to adjust to, considering that I still had to learn the defense, had to learn my teammates, and I had to learn the culture and the style. Well, I feel like I've made it my own. It feels like that third year at the University of Utah that I was blessed to perform so well that I'm so excited to go into this season because I've made it my own again.
What's the locker room at BYU like when Kalani's out in front right before you guys take the field? I imagine that guy can captivate that locker room, but excited to hear his voice and be able to do that the very first game.
Yeah, Kalani's as you know, he's a very well-spoken man. He's calm and collected, which is great because I think the team needs that presence there. But when the time is necessary to get right and to get excited, to get amped, I think he definitely is able to ignite that fire right before we step out.
And the dancing's not bad either.
Oh, the dancing's great.
He's really got it.
He's got the moves. He's got them.
All right, so I want to go through a scenario here, and it's a what will you do? Because I guarantee you've had these conversations.
Sir.
Let's say you're in a hotel room, November 6th. And
what's November 7th?
That's maybe the Utah game.
Okay, I didn't know
and then all of a sudden you get a phone call from the missus. She's like, "Hey, these things are like 90 seconds apart."
Yeah.
What happens there in the Tanuvasa house?
That's a great question.
Don't answer it, man. You don't have to. Just wait till the time comes and then make your choice.
Hold on. Just wait. Just wait about 36 hours. Everything will be good.
Exactly. I'm just going to tell her, hold on a little bit.
Just trying to save
Hold
you some
it in.
marital.
Take some deep breaths.
Exactly. I'll probably – God's timing is perfect. I can't argue with it. So if it's time, the baby takes definitely more of my life over that rivalry game. But the Lord will make it so I can play.
Yeah. Have faith.
Exactly.
He's got faith. He's bigger than you.
Little faith, Scotty. He's from Logan, It's that Logan thing.
The BYU defense has been fascinating to see it develop under Jay Hill and now Kelly Poppinga these last few years. The linebackers have got a ton of run, and even the secondary, which historically hasn't been one of BYU's stronger points, but they're developing defensive backs, and we just had Evan Johnson, potential pro player, and now it's like the spotlight has turned from where it might have been before at the back end to the front end. It's like, oh man, these guys, they've got to get pressure on that quarterback, blah, blah, blah. And we know you in the middle, but you're not going to be able to do it alone. Tell us about the brothers on the offensive line that you believe are ready to make this contribution to where, all right, the defensive line is just as good as the linebackers in the secondary.
For us on the defensive line, I think we've recognized that we need to step it up a little bit. I think last year was great. I think it was a little difficult. I think Jay Hill ran his defense a little bit around Jack Kelly and
Sure.
Glasker,
Yeah.
which was great, and it worked for us, as you can see. But now it's sticking to with K-Pop taking over, who was our DN's coach, is letting the pass rush be between the big boys up front and adding a backer here and there. It's being wise with our timing about when we choose to blitz, but letting the boys eat. Let them get after it. Don't just try and open up gaps for linebackers, but let's get home. And I think not just that coming from Coach K-Pop, but that's a thing that's happened for me as well that I recognized last year learning the defense. I was wanting to open up these gaps for my linebackers and wanting to eat these blocks so that we could make these plays. I'm at the point that it's like I can do that, and I can also do that 5 yards in the backfield. They'll stick to me if I'm getting off the ball and I'm winning in the backfield. And so we're looking forward to implementing that more going into this year. And with Justin Kirkland being back and his big body up and frame up front, Hunter Clegg being more developed, Tau Seeley, we got Nusi Tamoipeau. We got a lot of guys that are phenomenal. Anisi Purcell, Bodie Schoonover, that can pass rush. They just need to mentally see it and go do it.
I think that's really an interesting point because so much of what you guys did was space eating, essentially not letting offensive linemen get to the second level, keeping your linebackers clean. To have a coach that says, no, guess what? You guys get a feast at the big boy table too.
Yep.
I can't imagine the energy that brings to the table.
It's very exciting. It's what we've wanted. As a defensive lineman, you want to create havoc. And that's what we want to do as a collective unit is we want to beat the guy in front of us. And if we can, let's take two of them. But let's do it getting into the backfield. Let's do it dominating towards the quarterback and towards the running back so we can make plays as well.
Last year, you were kind of big news, making a move, and now it's not even a big deal anymore. Kyle Whittingham said, "Hold my beer." I'm going to go to Michigan. But that having that transition year under your belt, being at BYU, and being able to set down roots, how big is that going into this season for you?
Absolutely critical. I think I'm a person that builds from the foundation up, and I think when I tried to shift the foundation from the U to BYU, it didn't hold too well. And so I played well. It was good, and I'm proud of what I did. But I know that there's more in me, and that was what was eating me alive after games last year. Was people would compliment me and people would love us because we'd win these games, and I didn't feel like me. Now with my feet in the ground, I've stepped into the water and the sea is parted. I can see the goal. I'm moving towards it, and I'm excited to play this year.
You're talking about that goal being this year too, but there's a little bit of a longer range goal, and that would be the NFL. Do you allow yourself to think about that?
A little bit. I try not to get consumed in it. I think I did that my third year at Utah, and it was a little bit too much focus on, I got to get to the next level. Yeah. The best players know how to live in the moment, and the best players know how to perform in today. And so if I can handle one game at a time and get a sack against Utah Tech and get a tackle for loss and blow up my gap, well, then let's move on to Arizona and let's do that and so forth.
Yeah, and you got Arizona right off the bat. That's a huge conference game in week 2.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to get you fired up because whoever wins that game has a leg up.
Yeah. Yeah, as much as people would classify it as a non-conference game, everyone's going to take it as that. And so we're looking forward to starting fast. That's a huge motto going into this year. Is we had 6 comeback victories last year. That's way too many.
Yeah.
We got to start fast from Utah Tech and then go into Arizona and stack. Just as the workouts we've stacked from start to finish, we're stacking games, and we're excited to play Arizona. I just got to not get kicked out this game.
Yeah. Yeah, man, come on. We're counting on you.
He's a hard QB to tackle, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
he
is.
is.
5'6".
Yeah, a little taller.
There's only a little bit rain. Yeah, he's a little taller. I got to make fun of him.
I had a premonition you're going to get him this year.
Oh, I'm going to get him.
Yeah, you'll get him.
Yeah, I got him in high school. He knows.
I was going to say,
I'm
did you
for
know Fite personally? Because you obviously referenced him.
Yeah, we knew each other. We texted. We've texted a lot over the last couple years.
Yeah, I saw it. You'll get him. I enjoy that one.
Hey,
it's coming.
I was talking to one of your defensive coaches, and he mentioned, look, there's some losses there, but said Cade's turned a lot of eyes in camp. What have you seen out of him?
Cade is a downhill player. That man plays fast, and I love it. That's one reason that I feel a little bit more comfortable shooting gaps is I know he's going to have his, and I know he's going to make a play. If that ball is within 4 to 5 feet, he's leaving his feet, but he's downhill, and it takes him only a couple steps before he's making contact. So I love his downhill speed. I love the way that he plays, and he wants to hit. I mean, Bruce knows there was a blitz that happened in spring ball, and Cade gave it to him. So I'm excited to see how it goes.
Wish we'd have known that before.
I know, we just asked Bruce about it. I'm sure
we would have lit him up.
I'm sure he's not too brokenhearted about that.
You mentioned something about this, but I just want to reiterate. Obviously, the big question for people that talk about stuff like this is Jay leaving and Kelly coming in. As a defense, you're 100% confident in what Kelly can do and his abilities.
Absolutely. He's a hardworking man, and he's intelligent, and he has the energy. I love Coach K-Pop, and I think he's a BYU man through and through. Obviously, I think there's development to be had in everyone as he's taking over as a defensive coordinator. But I don't think that there's a man more dedicated to becoming the best defensive coordinator he can. He's definitely not as veteran as Jay Hill because it's his first year, but he's dedicated and he's committed, and that's who we are. I mean, we're men that are committed to our craft, but we're not professionals yet, and we're getting there. So as a collective unit, I'm excited.
You seem like a old soul, and I mean that in a good way. Like
he did at Utah. I interviewed him a bunch of times there. Always seemed it.
You have a bigger perspective on things than maybe a lot of young men your age. Where does that come from? To be able to have a bigger perspective on the long-term plans as opposed to just what's in front of you right now? From my upbringing, I'm just grateful to my mom and dad. They've blessed me with
vision that supersedes the moments that we're living in. You live in the moment and you don't worry about the future, but you have to pay attention to it and you have to prepare yourself for success. And I think that came up from the gospel and understanding what's to come. And I think that came from great parents. That's who I've been born to. And it comes from, the baby coming soon.
Do you know, boy, girl?
The baby boy.
Nice.
We got a name?
Baby Sam.
Oh, I got a son named Sam. Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Perfect name.
Let's go.
Tight end, or are you going to have him on the interior?
Oh, he's playing O-line for sure.
Yeah.
With my wife's genes and my genes, if he's not playing basketball, he's playing O-line.
I love it. And, hey, congratulations, man. We're
Thank
fired
you.
up for you.
Appreciate you, gentlemen.
There he is, Keanu Tanuvasa, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. As we continue on here at Big 12 Media Day, we anticipate hearing from LJ Martin coming up here in a bit as well. But a lot of good dudes here. It's fun conversations.
That's an impressive dude right there, I'll tell you.
Oh, Keanu? Yeah, absolutely, man. I noticed it at Utah. When you're talking to somebody, as you said, an old soul. I've interviewed probably hundreds, if not thousands, of college kids over the years. And then when you're around him and you start to get into an interview process, and DJ and I did them on television and also obviously in the radio stuff and print, that, okay, this kid's got it together. He understands what the mission, what the task is in life, in addition to what's going on in football. And if you have that combination, you can't help but succeed.
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. LJ Martin will actually join us a little bit later on this afternoon, as will Kalani Sitake. But a lot of good conversations with some BYU guests right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Take a break, come back as we continue on. Big 12 Media Day in Frisco, Texas, right here on the Zone.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast. An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
College football is nearly here, and we're blowing out the budget on our coverage of the teams you can't live without. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Big 12 Media Day coverage continues on here at Frisco, Texas. Let's take you to the podium. It is the commissioner of the Big 12, Brett Yormark.
Conference, and the metrics show that. Our championship game drew more than 85,000 fans, the most attended in Power 4 history, with game viewership up 39%. We had a conference record 38 NFL draft selections, including 11 in the first 2 rounds. And while football is a powerful driver, I'm incredibly proud of what our student athletes, coaches, and administrators have accomplished across all of our sports. In basketball, we had a conference record tying 8 NCAA tournament selections for both men's and women's. 9 of our men's players were selected in the first round of this year's NBA draft, a conference record, including the number 1 and number 2 picks overall. On the women's side, 5 players were selected in the WNBA draft, highlighted by the number 2 pick overall. We set a conference record in team sports, with 99 teams advancing to NCAA postseason play this past year, including record-setting representation in soccer, volleyball, lacrosse, softball, golf, and tennis. Every school in this conference earned a postseason appearance this year, underscoring our shared commitment to excellence and competing at the highest levels. We will continue our commitment to growing Olympic sports and are excited to host our second Media Days for volleyball and debut an in-season challenge for the first time this fall. To put a bow on this year's competition, I'm excited to announce the recipient of the inaugural All-State Commissioners Cup and winner of the All-State Big 12 Championship Series. This award honors the Big 12 program that excelled both athletically and academically throughout the year. This year's winner, Arizona. I want to congratulate President Garamella, Athletic Director Desiree Reed-Francois, and all the great University of Arizona student athletes. Let's give them a hand, please. In addition to receiving the Commissioner's Cup trophy, Arizona will receive a scholarship donation from Allstate in recognition of this great achievement. I also want to recognize the recipients of the 4th annual Bob Bowlesby Award, given to student athletes who exemplify leadership and achievement both on and off the field. This year's honorees are Johnny Kulo from Arizona State Swimming and Diving, Olivia Miles from TCU Women's Basketball, and Juliet Laraquente Hubner from Cincinnati Track and Field. Congratulations to each of you. Let's give them a hand. It was also a great year for the Big 12 off the field and court. This is my 4th media days, and I've always viewed our path forward in 3 phases: stabilize, build, and grow. We are now in full growth mode, and one of our top priorities is to create value for our member institutions. Sponsorship revenue this year was up 182%, and in the coming weeks, we will share more news to continue that momentum. But today, I have a very special announcement. Last year, we entered a partnership with Monster Energy to be the official energy drink of the Big 12. And today we build on that with Monster Energy becoming the entitlement partner of Big 12 football and Big 12 basketball regular seasons. Monster Energy represents drive, edge, ambition, qualities that mirror our student athletes and the Big 12 Conference. Our multi-year partnership is a first of its kind, built on the right brand and cultural alignment. Monster Energy is the #1 energy drink domestically and will take this conference to places it has not been before. The global nature of who they are aligns with our global aspirations. Monster Energy is sold in approximately 159 countries. During the regular season, Big 12 football, men's and women's basketball will be branded as Monster Energy Big 12 football and Monster Energy Big 12 basketball for all conference-controlled assets and platforms. A co-branded Monster Energy and Big 12 Conference logo will be featured on football and basketball jerseys, fields, and courts, with additional integration across conference digital and social media channels. Mitch Covington, Monster Energy's Global Chief Partnership Officer, is here with us today to celebrate this partnership along with his colleagues. Mitch, please stand up. Mitch, let's give Mitch a big hand, please. I have been friends for years and appreciate your growing support of the Big 12 Conference. Trust me when I say this to you, we will deliver big for you and Monster Energy. Thank you for everything. Mitch will be available today if any of you have any questions regarding our partnership. As we turn the page to the upcoming football season, our momentum continues to build as we remain patiently aggressive in everything we do. We're excited to welcome 4 new football coaches this year: Colin Klein at Kansas State, Eric Morris at Oklahoma State, Jimmy Rogers at Iowa State, and Morgan Scalley at Utah. The Big 12 again will be the conference of quarterbacks, with 6 returning starters and one of the strongest portal classes in the country at the position. Our competitive depth will fuel another exciting run to the Big 12 championship at AT&T Stadium in Arlington and position multiple Big 12 programs firmly in the college football conversation, playoff conversation. We will also use our championship game to celebrate America 250. This fall, we'll also introduce live replay review conversations, building on live replay center look-ins that were introduced last year. And we will also open a new replay operations center in 2027, as previously announced. We'll continue to strengthen our partnership with the NFL, further developing our 4 core principles of officiating, flag football, international growth, and driving innovation across all levels of the game. Over the next 12 months, I look forward to working with my fellow P4 commissioners on issues that affect all of us, including the future of a college football playoff. We've begun formal discussions around expansion and the right format moving forward. I've said it before, more access is needed, as too many great teams are still left out. I've also said before, we still need to work through the economics and scheduling and address any unintended consequences. There's been a lot of movement on the Hill. I want to applaud Senators Cruz and Cantwell for introducing the Protect College Sports Act. This bipartisan legislation represents an important step toward a more consistent national approach, providing a strong foundation for greater stability, clearer standards, and meaningful protections for our student athletes. I plan on being on the Hill next week to have further discussions regarding the bill and its refinement. We just completed year 1 of the College Sports Commission, and like any startup, there have been challenges. However, I'm encouraged by the foundation in place and the discussions around the adjustments we are addressing for year 2. I also want to commend Charlie Baker and the NCAA as they embrace reform in key areas, including eligibility and tampering, reflecting the broader changes shaping college athletics. Sports betting remains an industry-wide concern. We are extending our partnership with IC360 to monitor activity and expand education and support for our student athletes. There has never been a better time than right now to be part of this conference. We look forward to moving ahead as 16 strong and leveraging our scale and collective influence within college athletics to deliver monster moments all year long. Our conference goal is to be great every day for our student athletes and for our member institutions. I want to thank you all for being here, and I'll take some questions. Thank you.
Third row. Over here.
Hi, Commissioner. I'm Jerry Ramirez from RedRaidersports.com. I was wondering...
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm always excited to be here.
Well, I'm thrilled you're here today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Just curious if throughout the Brendan Sorsby situation, if you supported Texas Tech at any point throughout that, and if that changed, what may have caused you to change your mind on that?
Let me start off by saying I appreciate the question. I appreciate other questions that are probably going to come forth today. Today is not the time to address that issue. Today is about celebrating the upcoming football season and celebrating our 16 schools. But I appreciate the question, so thank you.
All right, we'll go front row here.
Hey, Commissioner. Nick Hamilton, media. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Good.
Wanted to ask you mentioned about expansion and being able to obviously expand the conference and obviously the game of college football. What steps do you need to take to be able to expand but not have an overkill and be able to get on one accord with the rest of the conferences to be able to try to make that happen?
Are you talking about expansion from a standpoint of member institutions?
Member institutions, yes.
Okay, so the only way I'm going to address that is I love the makeup of our conference right now. You know, you think about the composition of the Big 12, we've added 8 institutions over the last 3 to 4 years, okay? It's taken a lot of time and effort to build cohesion. I think we're finally there. I don't think as a conference we're the best version of ourselves. We've got some work to still do, but we're well on our way. And as I said in my closing comments, there's never been a better time to be part of this conference than right now. But thank you for the question.
Over here in the blue.
Hey, Mr. Commissioner, Hutchins from the Quad City Times. How important is it for Big 12 schools to continue playing out-of-conference rivalry games in football? And does that change if you go to a 10-game schedule?
I'm sorry, can you say that again? I didn't hear the. Just speak into the mic a little bit more.
Yeah. How important is it to continue playing out-of-conference rivalry games?
Well, I think out-of-conference is important. You know, Scott Draper all the time. And we'll continue to discuss that on a go-forward basis. You mentioned something about 10 conference games, or no?
How does it, does that change? If you go to 10 games, does it change the willingness to play out-of-conference rivalry games?
Well, listen, as it relates to 10 conference games, it's something I brought up at the spring business meetings, and that will be predicated on where we end up or not in the college football playoff expansion. All those variables are interconnected, if you will, and we'll address them when we need to. But out-of-conference games are critically important.
This gentleman here in the second row.
Good morning, Commissioner. AP Stedham of ABS.
Nice to see you.
Yes, sir. Commissioner, what did you learn about the evaluation process for the college football playoff that you want to tell your member institutions? And what are your feelings about the college football playoff and the number of teams that are involved at this point?
Well, the college football playoff obviously is something that's been top of mind for me for quite some time, and we've talked about different formats and how do you expand it or not, and that work really in earnest is starting now. I just returned a few weeks ago from Colorado, where the management committee came together and we started discussing what the possibilities might look like. And as I said in my opening comments, we need more access. I'm a firm believer in that. The Big 12 is a firm believer in that. Where that takes us, I can't tell you today. I don't have a crystal ball. But I want more access. And I think that's the right thing for us to consider. And we're doing the appropriate due diligence right now. But thank you for your question.
Gentleman in the back.
Mitch Harper, KSL Sports. Brett, sorry, get a little bit of feedback. You mentioned international games and things like that. What other locations or how big of a role is international play going to be in the league going forward?
Well, I mean, I've said it before and I'm on the record. You know, we have global ambitions as a conference. Obviously, we're playing 2 games overseas this year. 14% of our student athletes come from outside this country, and 6 of our 16 institutions have campuses outside of the U.S. So it's something that we need to continue to do our due diligence on. I do like the NFL model and where they're going. I like the NBA and where they're going. If you think about where we've played internationally, it's pretty consistent and aligns well where the NFL and the NBA have been, and we'll see where we go in the future. But I'm excited about the possibilities. There's a lot of interest in Europe for what we do here at the Big 12, and we'll determine if, you know, what's next and what's right. But thank you for your question.
All right, the gentleman here in the purple blazer.
Yeah, Brett, Barry Trammell, to your left. Barry Trammell from the Tulsa World.
Barry, you were there in day 1 with me.
Yeah, I've been day 1 of a lot of places.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I know. It's good to see you.
You too. When it comes to the playoff, I mean, it appeared the Big 12 and the ACC were on the side of a 16-team format several months ago. Appears that has flipped. The desire for more access really hasn't changed. What were the factors that made you shift towards the 24? The secondary questions, if we do go 24, looks like we lose the Big 12 championship game. Is that just a collateral damage that you're willing to accept?
Well, first of all, great question. I liked 16 initially as I learned more about it, obviously without the additional AQs, okay? When 24 became part of the conversation, we've done our own conference due diligence around it. And we think it might be a great fit for us. We discussed it most recently in our spring business meeting with our coaches. Across the board, they liked it. And we continue to have those conversations with our ADs and our presidents. We do need to understand the economics. Is there a marketplace to go to 24? We have to understand the scheduling dynamic and what that means, and the unintended consequences, which I said earlier. As it relates to our championship game, I think I've said it before, that's a huge tentpole event for us. I mean, we had over 85,000 attend last year, and our ratings were up 39%. It's a big deal for us. And there are economics that go with that champ game. So as we consider 24, we've got to look at what we have and what potentially we might gain, and ultimately make the best decision for the Big 12. But everything's on the table. Thank you.
Gentleman back here.
Hi, Commissioner Robert Aronoff, Knights 24/7. My question is, with the gambling situation that the conference dealt with in the past year, we had multiple parties making multiple assertions, threats, in a courtroom, including two different states' attorneys kind of weighing in on what was going to happen or what should happen. What is the conference doing as you look to celebrate this year and protect the game moving forward? What is the conference doing to ensure that the resolution of these situations happens within a byline or guidelines of the conference and not in a courtroom?
Listen, I appreciate the question. I'll just start off by saying integrity for the game is critically important. For all sports, for this conference, we will continue to work with our student athletes to educate them and to help guide them in this new environment. You know, when I grew up, sports betting wasn't as available as it is today. It's a different world that student athletes are growing up in, and they need to be educated. And that's the role that we are taking alongside of our member institutions. But thank you for the question.
Right. The gentleman right here in the middle.
Donovan Bridgeford, TXA and 24 News. So I just wanted to talk about, with AT&T Stadium seeing such an international, I guess you would say, like love from everyone that's been there. What is your plan for this with 250 celebration being there for the championship at the end of this season?
It's a great question. We have not gone to work yet on what that looks like, but that's one of our biggest moments of the year, our champ game, and everything leads to AT&T Stadium. So we think it's a perfect opportunity for us to celebrate America 250. Thank you for your question.
The gentleman here in the purple blazer. Go ahead.
Sean Dillon, Rocket Brigade. Commission, Texas Tech got fined over tortillas, and tortillas were banned outright. OSU paddles broke an always maker rule, has a tradition exemption. Sorsby never played a snap. Big 12 sued them anyway, while Cincinnati hasn't been yet touched. You're selling greater than 12. Why should Texas fans believe it?
Can you sit? Let me come closer to you. Stand up. Ask that question again, and I'm going to give you the answer I want to give you, so go ahead.
Texas Tech got fined for tortillas, and tortillas were banned outright. OSU has had paddles that were given a noisemaker exemption back in 2012. Sorsby never played a snap for the Red Raiders, and yet there's a lawsuit. Cincinnati has yet to be touched. You're selling greater than 12. Why should Texas Tech fans believe them?
No, I didn't say greater than 12. You misquoted me. I said we're going forward as 16 strong, and that's my answer to your question. But thank you for that question. Appreciate it.
Gentleman in the black.
Hello, Brett. I'm over here.
Okay, go ahead. Nice to see you.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Will Burnett, Buff Stampede. As private equity becomes more and more prominent in the sport, a lot of universities still depend on alumni bases, fundraisers, stuff like that. Some see private equity as controversial, albeit some necessary. How do you see the future of private equity breaking in specifically into the Big 12, and what is that going to look like?
Well, that's a great question, but you might not have been reading what has been going on in the Big 12. So we were at the forefront of private equity when I first got here. We explored all different options, from private equity to debt, you name it. And each conference, each school has to do what's in their best interest. We landed in a place that I felt was a great partnership with Redbird. That's all about business development. It's not traditional private equity. So we like where we've landed. We think we're in a really good place. We have a strategic partnership with Redbird.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on the scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
The commissioner of the Big 12, that is Brett Yormark. We'll hear more of him coming up a little bit later on. But you know what? This is the point of the program where Coach and I just get the heck out of the way and let the Sun Devil grad talk to his current Sun Devil, CJ Fite, kind enough to join us, anchoring that D-line. How are you, sir?
Good about yourself. How you doing?
Okay, now I'm out.
All right, CJ. No. You've been around the program for a good while, man. You were one of the earlier guys to commit, and so you've been there for a good while. You're anchoring that defensive line. Tell us about what your expectations are as a defense, because there's not a lot of you in terms of returning starters on that defensive side this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of puzzles, I guess pieces to fill in from last year going to this year, but I think the guys we brought in are more than capable to do so. So just seeing like the energy and like what the guys bring to the table every day in workouts or spring ball, I'm excited to see what this defense can do, because it's not a selfish guy on this defense from me looking at it right now. So as long as we do our one job, and we always talk about doing our 111th, so if everybody does that, I think we'll be just fine. We'll have a more than enough talent to make plays on defense.
Would you rather play in Texas humidity but have it a little cooler, or the 115 in Phoenix with the dry heat?
This is a debate that happens a lot, actually. I actually hate the humidity because it's just when you're humid, sometimes even when you're in the shade, you're still hot.
Yeah.
But in Arizona, if you get out the heat, then if there's a little breeze, you're good. So it's just really just probably that 115, because in the sun, you're going to burn. But if you put some water on you, get under a little shade, get under a little tent, you'll be just fine.
115 puts hair on your chest.
But the humidity.
Yeah, that's what a real man do. There you go.
Hey, but the misters things, the misters in the posh spots, you walk around and they mist you.
Scottsdale Road.
That's relief, right?
I actually hate misters.
Okay. But at least there, it's relief. Here, it would just add to the.
It would add to
we
it,
walked
yeah.
out today, and I was like, I already showered, and we're walking a block, and I think I showered again.
Yeah,
you know that
exactly.
Tell me about the greatness of Coach Dillingham. We obviously study him from a distance, but what makes him so great?
He's just real. The same way he was when I got here my freshman year, the same way he is now. The same energy, same realness. That he's just a genuine guy who cares about you. I've had so many conversations with him, just not even about football, just about life and about just things other than football. Like, we have other conversations. So it's like he's a guy that cares about you as a person. He does everything in his power to make sure that you succeed as a person, not even just in football, but after football. He's done so many things, like business-wise, to set us up to be successful in life, because he knows his football is much bigger than football, and only a small percentage is going to make it so far in football. So he does like as much as he can possible to set us up. So he's just a guy who cares. And that's what you can all you can ask for sometimes. A guy that cares about you, who wants you to be successful, and just shows you love every single day.
It seems like he's working harder than many other coaches out there to make sure that you guys have opportunities 100%. In the NIL landscape, 100%. And that's probably resonates in the locker room.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the guys that, like, you see that. You see him on social media. You see him on these press conferences talking about show our guys love, give our guys, like, donate to the collective so our guys can feel the appreciation, can be like at ease, can be comfortable, and be able to just have that blessing of what some other teams have. So from where we started to where we are now, it's crazy when you look at it. If you saw the numbers, but like, yeah, it's a blessing just to have him as a coach, because he truly cares about us and what we're doing in the future.
I like that you were there in the early days, right? So when you came, the program was not good. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah. And then, you guys go ahead and win the conference last year. You had injuries got in the way, but you still had a decent season. And Coach Kenny, me being a Phoenix guy, I pay attention to it, activate the Valley. Yeah. And so every home game was sold out last year, which is a significant achievement for you. How much does it mean to you to be a part of basically laying the groundwork, what Kenny and I'm sure you, as you go on to the NFL, hope is something that is an annual occurrence, that Sun Devil football is a big thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge shout out to the fans. From our first year, after halftime, it was probably about 50% of attendance at the games at that point. We start off well, beginning of the games, it's loud, like you feel good, but okay. And by halftime, it's just empty. So to be able to see where they are, where we came from, and how much the fans really bought in, it's been beautiful to see. Like, the games were so loud last year, and like, it was live, and like you felt the energy and the atmosphere of the stadium. So like we truly started to have that home field advantage when you had the third downs or the third downs for the offense, defense. You truly felt it. So huge shout out to the fans. Last year I felt like the Valley was truly being activated, and I'm excited to see how much more it can be activated, but it's a great spot where we're at.
You did you redshirt?
No, sir.
So this the 5 for 5, if it hits, is that, I mean, obviously I know you want to go to the NFL and get there as quickly as possible, but is that resonating in the locker room? Like, if I do get an opportunity to get a fifth year, that's something that will be beneficial for me in terms of NIL and things like that?
I mean, I guess, I don't know. It really has resonated. I know for me, I'm sure with a lot of guys, because it's not like we've seen a lot of it. We've heard words about it, heard word, like it may happen. I don't know if it went through. Did it go through?
People anticipate it will. It's not official yet. But.
Yeah, so it's like all the guys are really just like, for me, like I'm playing like this is my last year. And I'm going to keep it like that even if I get the fifth, because I'm not going to be like, okay, if this year doesn't go well for me, I'm going to come back for another year. So it's like I'm going all for it this year, whether I have the year or not. So that's how a lot of guys are. That's how all the guys are wired. So, whether I get the fifth year or not, like I'm not – honestly, I'm not here for NIL opportunities. I'm here to further my success in football and what I want to do in this sport, and I have goals for myself. So, I mean, if God calls me to stay another year, I'll do it. So, I'm really just trying to live in the moment, make sure that I attack each day to make sure this is my best year.
Tatum, Texas.
Yeah,
tell me about Tatum, Texas. What was the life like growing up there?
It was small town living, just slow.
Where's that near?
Shreveport.
Okay.
What? We border Louisiana. We're by Longview, Tyler.
So you know all about humidity then.
Yeah.
Tyler Rose's dog. I know about those Tyler Roses.
Yes, sir. So we're about 40 minutes from Tyler. And then Longview, 30 minutes. Carthage, actually Montana, and Lyric grew up 15 minutes from me in Marshall. So to be able to have them over here is cool.
That's neat.
Yeah. So East Texas. My dad drove about 2 hours over here, about 2 hours east of here. So it's out of town in 2000. I always tell people the same people I went to kindergarten with, the same people I graduated with.
Wow, that's cool.
So I had
that's
like
a neat experience.
120 in my graduating class. So it's enough. It's not like too small, but it's enough to where you see enough people every day. So I was with the same people every day. It was just slow living, country roads, no lights And
that sounds awesome.
God bless America.
Tempe's a little different.
Tempe's a lot different. I was messed up when I first got here.
A little fast.
Yeah, because back in Taylor, it's like literally just a four-way stop, and it's like a blinking light, and that's it. There's no traffic light, none of that. So it's like everything stop signs. And my first time having to drive with pedestrians was actually in Tempe.
Oh, really?
It was horrible. I'm like, these people just feel like they
University Road Avenue
University
throw you
Drive.
back.
Everybody feels like they're indestructible, can't get hit by a car, so they just walk out no matter what. So it's like I had to learn how to drive with people for the first time. I went back home not too long ago, and my eyes got adjusted to the lights in Tempe, and I couldn't see driving back home. So I'm over here driving with brights on. It's still not bright enough. I'm like all in the steering wheel trying to see.
There's more people on Mill Avenue than in your town.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, on a Friday night at Mill, there's more people there in Taylor.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot different.
Well, have a good season this year. Looking forward to chatting with you again down the line.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Good
luck.
Stuff.
Thank
DJ
you.
Fite right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, we're long overdue. Let's take a break. You're listening to Big 12 Media Day coverage right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You ever heard the story of Harry? He was a legend around here. Until one afternoon, he left and never came back. Turns out, Harry went and made himself a website using Squarespace. Used Squarespace domains to buy artisanseatcushions.com. And he built a beautiful site with an online store to sell his artisan seat cushions. Now Harry's sitting on a fortune. And if our Harry can do it, anyone can. Build your business at squarespace.com. Use offer code EVERYTHING for 10% off your website or domain.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk.